the state to block U.S. government from selling federal land. The lawsuit seeks an injunction against California Senate Bill 50, which requires the federal government to give the state's land commission the option to buy federal land before it can be transferred to another owner because the DOJ claims it is unconstitutional. Attorney General Jeff Sessions said the Constitution empowers the federal government, not the state legislatures, to decide when and how federal lands are sold. California was admitted to the Union upon the express condition that it would never interfere with the disposal of federal land, and yet, once again, the California legislature has enacted an extreme state law attempting to frustrate federal policy. California State Senator Ben Allen, who authored the legislation, told the Washington Post the law was very carefully crafted and intended to ensure that the state would have the chance to intervene if the federal government sought to sell land worthy of conservation. The DOJ argues SB 50 violates the Supremacy Clause of the U.S. Constitution, which states federal law shall be the supreme law of the land and the judges in every state shall be bound thereby. The DOJ's complaint also listed land transfers by the U.S. Army, Navy, and Department of Veterans Affairs affected by the law. California Attorney General Xavier Becerra said he was prepared, as always, to do what it takes to protect our people, our resources, and our values.
For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co.
Reuters reports the U.S. Supreme Court on Monday sided with an Arizona police officer in a case testing the constitutional limits for the use of force, throwing out a lawsuit brought against him by a woman he shot 4 times in her driveway while she held a large kitchen knife. Over the dissent of 2 of the liberal justices, the court overturned a 2016 lower court ruling that had allowed the civil rights lawsuit seeking at least $150,000 in damages from University of Arizona Police Department Corporal Andrew Casella to proceed. The wounded woman, Amy Hughes, had accused Casella of using excessive force in the 2010 incident in violation of the U.S. Constitution's Fourth Amendment, which protects against unreasonable searches and seizures. In the case decided on Monday, the court ruled in an unsigned opinion that Casella was entitled to qualified immunity, protecting him from litigation because he did not violate any clearly established law. In a dissent, Justice Sonia Sotomayor wrote that Casella's conduct was unreasonable and the court should not shield him from liability. Sotomayor criticized the court's decision as another example of its unflinching willingness to reverse lower courts when they deny officers immunity. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Zoo visitors watch the mating rituals of the ice cream shop staff, and a serious coworker puts on headphones to focus on his sandwich. Happiness is perpetually fleeting, so try to savor the next few minutes before it disappears once again. This is The Onion Week in Review. FBI officials announced they just can't bring themselves to bust a man who recently downloaded every season of the 1990s television show Picket Fences from a BitTorrent website. While stressing that pirating copyrighted material is strictly illegal, federal authorities expressed their sympathy for the man and claimed that perhaps the story of Sheriff Jimmy Brock and the strange events in a small Wisconsin town is all he has left to cling to.
We have more than enough evidence to bust him for piracy, but if the poor guy really wants to watch all 4 seasons of a 20-year-old CBS drama that nobody remembers, then he's clearly going through a pretty big rough patch right now. And frankly, we don't need to make it any worse.
For statistical purposes, we have seized all private data from your personal computer, and we are disgusted with your recent internet search history. You sick f***. For more, keep checking theonion.com.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live, and you are invited to join us right here by dialing in toll-free. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. The Skype username tonight is LRN.FM, so feel free to join us there. You do have to send a quick friend request if you haven't done that yet, and we'll approve it. You'll be good to go to call from that point forward. Apparently, earlier today, 1 person dead, at least 4 injured in a shooting at YouTube headquarters in San Bruno, California.
You're supposed to call it a campus. All the hip places call their headquarters campuses.
Yeah, I don't know why that is. A campus always makes me think of a school, but I suppose
I think that's the idea.
A wider definition. I suppose
it's nice like a school, and everybody's relaxed like a school, and we have like workout areas and places to play like a school. And
yeah,
I don't know.
It seems a little weird. But anyway, it's Ian and Mark here as normal. Johnson's got the night off, Mark, because you wanted to bring in a special guest co-host.
That's right. So this is Brian. He is part of my Quaker meeting, but I don't bring in a lot of people from sort of the outside, that kind of thing. Brian is
from the outside.
Yeah, outside. Brian's a pretty interesting guy, though. So I think that we'll find some interesting takes from him. So Brian.
Welcome to Free Talk Live.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's an absolute pleasure to be here with you. We're going to I heard that you want to talk about transhumanism or being against transhumanism, and we can certainly get into that. In fact, I've got a tech story to start out here. Of course, besides the shooting at YouTube here today, which, of course, is in California.
Kind of a tech story.
It is a tech story. We don't know what the motivation behind the shooting was. I don't think at this point. It's probably way too early. We can tell you the details there, but there's not a whole lot that I suspect is particularly well known at this point, except for the fact that a mass, or I don't know if it's a mass shooting, a large shooting, has occurred in one of the states with the most strict gun laws in the country, California.
Yep, I can tell you the people who are into identity politics are watching this closely to see whether or not the person is called a terrorist and what their ethnicity is as a result.
I did hear a rumor, early report was that it was actually a female shooter in this particular case.
No, she's clearly not a terrorist.
Which would be unusual, but she was also allegedly wearing a headscarf, so who knows what that, again, that was a very, very early report. So if you want to share
who knows if it's true, right?
Your thoughts with us here, the toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. From thedailybeast.com, though, Generation Z is already bored by the internet.
Are they busy looking at their memes? They're done looking at their memes and ready for a nap?
Teenagers today have unprecedented access to technology, and yet many report they've never been so bored. You remember what it was like, right? Teenagers.
I remember being bored, yes, but I didn't have the internet to be bored with.
There's a notion among older people that teens with their smartphones and unlimited internet access never experience boredom. CNN and other media outlets have repeatedly declared that smartphones have killed boredom as we know it. Quote, today we don't have time to daydream, waiting in the doctor's office or standing in line. We can check our email, play Angry Birds, or Twitter, a media consultant once declared in Huffington Post. But today's teens are still bored, often incredibly so. They're just more likely to experience a new type of boredom, which is called phone bored.
Phone bored, okay. So I haven't been bored in years, and I've taken time to relax, and I've been happy to have that. But maybe it's just that this is more of a phenomenon of being young. I don't know the answer to that, but I know that if I told my grandmother I was bored, she would quickly have some kind of gardening implement in my hand.
She'd come up with something for you to do.
Yeah, and it would be awful. So I learned not to use that terminology ever.
Yeah, I don't know who said it, but if you're bored, it's your problem.
Yeah.
You're the one who can cure that any old time you want to by having things you're interested in and having a to-do list and things that are important.
Yeah, I'm sure I get my 10-year-old to put together a to-do list.
Well, I understand what you're saying, but as today's teens are still bored, often incredibly so, as members of what has been dubbed...
Can you believe my son's a tween?
He's now 10.
Yeah.
Generation Z, a cohort that spans those born roughly between the years of 1998 and 2010.
98, 2010, okay.
Today's teens and tweens have had unparalleled access to technology. So that would put Jack in this range.
Yeah, he's Generation Z.
Yeah, Generation Z. Many.
He is not bored on whenever he manages to get a hold of some connected device, though, I can assure you.
Okay, he's still very interested in that, huh?
Yeah, he doesn't get much time. He doesn't get that kind of all-day kind of time that some kids may get.
Mm-hmm. Many have had smartphones since elementary school, if not middle school. They've grown up with high-speed internet, laptops, and social media. It's tempting to think that these devices, with their endless ability to stimulate, offer salvation from the type of mind-numbing boredom that is so core to the teenage experience. But humans adapt.
Maybe they're just mind-numbed.
Humans adapt to the conditions that surround them, and technical advances are no different. What seemed novel to one generation feels passé to the next. To many teens, smartphones and the internet have already lost their appeal. So does that mean that they're going to go outside and, play a baseball game or something like that? What does that mean?
Throw a frisbee back and forth?
Or just, are they just going to complain about it? Are they just going to complain about how bored they are?
I'm going to take that.
Phone boredom occurs when you're technically on your phone.
I'm on this site called Imgur. It's spelled Imgur, but I guess they call it Imgur. It seems to be populated by people who are proud of depression. Proud of they use terminology like depression nap. Apparently daily they take things that are called depression naps. And suicide, or the desire for non-existence, probably more accurately, seems to be just this kind of thing that's extolled there, and I'm amazed by this. I want the opposite, right? Like, I want
is this what you're picking up from just looking at the memes that they're posting?
I'm no noob there. Yeah. I'm going to be celebrating my 4th cake day relatively soon.
Okay, you're there a lot then. You spend a lot of time there.
That means I've been there for 4 years off and on, kind of looking around. But yeah, and I'm it's kind of just very interesting.
And you believe that the demographics of the site are younger than you?
They seem to be. They don't they don't have profiles or anything like that where you can sort of check these things, but it seems to be younger people. If what the images that they put up are kind of any indication of what that might be like. And well, when I see things, talking about depression, and it's interesting, they always have these defensive depression memes too, sort of like, you don't have any idea what it's like to be depressed, shut up, you mayn't give any advice on depression or anything like that. Apparently saying things like, well, exercise will probably cure 90% of y'all, is just,
that's what they say.
As callous as you can possibly be.
Phone boredom, they say, occurs when you're technically on your phone, but you're still bored out of your mind. It's that feeling when you're mindlessly clicking around, opening and closing apps, looking for something to do digitally, and finding the options uninteresting. Have y'all ever experienced that?
Phone boredom?
Phone boredom.
I can't say that I have. It's a big internet. There's plenty to read.
I guess if I feel that way, I would put down the device, and look at, either run through my mental Rolodex or check one of my existing to-do lists and do that thing, whatever that is. There's always,
it's always a thing.
I got a farm. There's something to do.
Yeah, for sure.
Right now, there's something to do.
Yeah,
somebody could clean out the garage.
I can relate to this somewhat. I've had this happen where I feel like I've run out of things to do on my phone. I've absolutely felt that way.
It's time to go to bed then.
Even right. Like, okay, I'm done for today. Or like you said, okay, that's an indicator that it's time to go back to the to-do list.
If it's daylight out, you do one of the things on the to-do list. If it's dark out, you go to bed.
Right. So I can say I understand where they're coming from on that. And even though, while I know in my mind, Brian, that there is an internet out there of unending capacity, I feel as though I've hit the dead ends of the internet. Like I've tapped out in my my interests, which I know is not true. But I guess I can relate to some of these teenagers. Not that I feel that very often, but there's definitely been some times where it's like, okay, well, I don't really have anything else to do on this phone here. So next, now what?
Yeah, I suppose if you have nothing to do, like there's no to-do list for you, and everything that any adult's going to give you is going to stink, which of course it would.
Yeah,
because
so a teenager
have no skills.
Right, a teenager would really find that to be a dead end, whereas I can pick up a to-do list and say, oh yeah, that's a priority, I need to do that, just don't remember it, that's why I have the to-do list. They don't have, many of them, that. They've never been encouraged probably to build that particular concept in their life.
If you think I'm mean to the millennials, think how mean I'm going to be to the Generation Z.
There's more coming up. Free Talk Live.
This is Daryl W. Perry, host of Free Talk Live. This November, I'll be running in the world's biggest and most popular marathon, the New York City Marathon, and I've accepted a spot on Team Innocence Project because I'm a passionate supporter of their work. Since 1989, 353 people in the United States have been exonerated by DNA testing, including 38 who pled guilty to crimes they did not commit, and 20 of whom served time on death row. The Innocence Project provided direct representation or critical assistance in 180 of these cases. With your help, the Innocence Project can help even more people who have been wrongly convicted. As part of Team Innocence Project, I'm raising awareness about wrongful convictions and raising funds to help free the innocent. I've already paid the race registration fees. However, to secure my spot on Team Innocence Project in the New York City Marathon, I need to raise $3,500 by November 1st. You can support the Innocence Project and help me secure my race entry by going to run.freetalklive.com. You've heard of Bitcoin Cash, but did you know there's now a Bitcoin Cash wallet? The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core wallet that allows you to send and receive either currency with anyone, anywhere in the world. The Bitcoin.com wallet supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available for Android, iOS, Windows, Mac, and even Linux. Learn more at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com. The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media, and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveatpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveatpurse.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can take control of the airwaves here, toll free at 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype. The Skype username is lrn.fm. And so in the studio here with you tonight, my name is Ian. We also have with us
Brian.
And Mark.
And, of course, you can bring up anything. We've got the Discord on-air call-in line room, which is available to you over at discord.lrn.fm. Just jump into the top chat room there, and we will join you, and you'll be on the air with us to talk about what you want. We're starting out the show here tonight, and hopefully we're going to talk about transhumanism on the way. But to start, talking about technology in our lives today, and specifically in the lives of teenagers who, according to thedailybeast.com, many of them are finding themselves bored with the internet. We'll continue with that story here in moments. As first we go to Mortified Penguin on the line in Virginia. Hello there, Penguin.
Hey, Ian. I just wanted I just heard Mark mention Imgur. I've probably been on there for 3 or 4 years myself, and yeah, it's got a certain interesting predominating culture on there. There's definitely a lot of kind of different kind of people on there. I mean, Mark, do you use that site for a lot of like sharing different posts and commenting, or do you put your own personal pictures up there?
Oh, I rarely put something up. My opinions stink by their their estimation. I mean, like,
is there discussion on that site?
Yeah, there's all kinds, lots of comments underneath it. Okay. So, I'm a cranky old guy on the air. I'm not really much different in real life, and so when I get up there, they're not going to really like the things that I have to say generally. So,
feedback though is great.
Yeah, I try to keep my opinions off of there, and I don't make images. By any stretch of the imagination. I do like to look at them. What I'll do is I'll grab memes. It's the best place to get new memes and
share them.
Throw them up on Free Talk Live's page, and then they get lots of views because they're fresh.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of. It's great because there's constantly content being posted by just an incredibly huge user base all over the world. So there's a lot of great memes. Sometimes I'll upload memes that I find elsewhere on there, but I get a lot of content from there. But it's great because you're constantly having new content every second being posted pretty much, and you can comment. It's great for trolling.
Yeah,
get a lot of instant feedback.
Yeah, if you stay on if you stay on user sub, you'll certainly find the trollish denizens right there.
So are they categorized?
So there's right. There's the most popular.
Because all I've ever done with that site is make a meme and like share it, and that's it.
Right. So you can share that meme on that site, and then people will say things about it, or they won't.
Right.
And they'll upvote it or downvote it, and that's pretty much what happens. And then the people can comment on comments and that sort of thing. So the ones that get lots of upvotes get then moved to
like the front page,
most popular.
Okay.
Front page, yeah.
Yeah, and so you can see, you can sort them by popularity, or you can sort them by newest, and you can sort them by most popular or user submitted. So if you're looking at the newest and then user submitted, you're going to see just anything that anybody posts. So for whatever reason, if people post a picture of their stove, it'll be there. Or they have this sort of rule against selfies. So basically, they'll downvote you to hell if you put up a selfie or something that looks like a selfie or whatever. And they have this predisposition for sort of well-written stories with images that go along that kind of talk about sad things that have occurred. They're very feely oriented there, and so they'll be that, and you losing weight. They love themselves a good weight loss story, triumph in the end, that kind of thing. And of course, dogs and cats, they like those things. And you talk about how you love your dog or your cat, you'll get lots of upvotes.
Yeah, and it's also very contrarian because then there's also the people that hate all those things too. And it's just, I don't know, it's just a fun site. It's a lot of content. I have a lot of downtime at work. It's just fun. You'll never get bored with technology if you're just constantly clicking through. Because it's just like a picture of somebody's stove or pictures of somebody's, I don't know, like lug nuts on their car or something crazy. Just constantly random stuff being posted all the time, different memes and opinions.
So you don't experience this phone boredom. You've never had the feeling of running out of things to do on the internet.
I don't really. Back when it, like 3G and stuff first started, I started using my phone, but I use a desktop. Mm-hmm. If I'm by myself, I'll try to find something other to do than fidget on my phone. A lot of the users on that site are basically scrolling on their phone. And a lot of memes about that, like on the toilet and just on their downtime, just scrolling on their phone. It just whatever new pictures get posted. But I mean, I don't do that. I've been there, but I'd call in, do the call-in lines on the LRN if I'm bored half the time or some other thing to fidget.
You're bored? Just call Free Talk Live. It's what we're here for. We solved that problem. Hey, thanks for the call tonight, Penguin. I appreciate hearing from you. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Although we'd prefer you have a topic. Somebody calling in to say, I'm bored.
Yeah,
talk to me.
It's not going to go real well.
Yeah, it's not.
That's what you listen for.
Particularly interesting. According to the story at thedailybeast.com, whereas previous generations might have scrolled through channels on the radio or wandered into different rooms in their house or flicked through countless television channels, today's teens say they'll sometimes open and close up to 20 to 30 apps, hoping that anything, will catch their attention.
Somebody talk to me.
Quote, when I'm bored while I'm on my phone and I'm switching between different apps, I'm just searching for something to do, said Addie, a 15-year-old in Long Island. She says, quote, it's like walking around your house in circles, unquote. Often, they'll find nothing on their phone entertaining, and simply zone out and daydream.
Get out of the house, walk around the block, get some exercise.
To a parent or casual observer, the phone-bored teen may appear engaged. After all, they're on their phone, which many people consider an inherently engaging activity, but in reality, they're bored out of their mind. Quote, I can be in my bed for hours on my phone, and that's me being bored, said Maxine Marcus, a 17-year-old and founder of the Ambassadors Company, a teen consulting business. Quote, you think that we're so entertained.
What is a teen consulting business?
You think that we're so entertained because we're on our phones all the time.
Is it like teens that come to your business and give you your opinion about how things are going?
I don't know.
Or is it like adults that come and talk to your teen and give them advice about how they think their lives are going? I can't not imagine what a teen consultant is.
You could reach out to the Ambassadors Company, Mark.
Is it an old person that goes to an old person's company and tries to pretend like they know what the teens talk about? Because that always reminds me of the DJs, right? So
what do you mean, the DJs?
Well, in our business, you're
radio
both
disc jockey.
Yeah, radio disc jockeys.
Because there's club DJs as well.
Yeah. Okay. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about radio disc jockeys. These guys just are on the air, so nobody necessarily knows what their age is, and they'll milk that whole I work for the rock station thing forever. I mean, they could be 70.
Sure.
And, they're going to stay in that line of work because that's what they're doing. And they know how to push those buttons. They're skilled.
So you're saying the DJs that work at like a top 40 station where their audience is half their age?
Right. I mean, what are they but basically a teen consultant, probably a 20-something consultant, but nonetheless.
The teenager, 17-year-old, says, you think we're so entertained because we're on our phones all the time, but just because we're on it doesn't mean we're engaged or excited. I get bored on my phone all the time.
Come on out to the jiu-jitsu class. We'll give you something to do.
She said when you're bored on your phone, you're just sitting with your own thoughts. You're on it, but it's just an action, so your brain still goes wherever it wants to. You get bored, and you start thinking and daydreaming, she said. The toll-free number here tonight, 855-450-FREE like freedom, 855-450-3733. Have you been phone bored? And, well, are you a teenager, or does it happen to other people as well? This is Free Talk Live.
You've seen crazy diets to lose weight. At GCN Team, our healthy body weight loss system simply neutralizes the body, bringing down cravings. It has been proven that nutritional deficiencies drive appetite for carbs, sugars, and fats. Lose weight the easy way. Find us at gcnteam.com or call 877-878-4203. Fighting cravings is a fool's game. Give the body what it needs to be satisfied. Again, 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203.
Face it, today's electric power grid is more vulnerable than ever. From natural disasters to EMP attacks and hacking, the grid could be crippled for days or even decades in the most dire scenarios. Visit quantumharvest.net to see our built-to-last EMP-protected solar power systems. While millions suffer, you'll have vital power for water pumps, refrigeration, and sanitation. Now that's peace of mind. EMP-protected solar power systems for every need and budget. See our full range at quantumharvest.net.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealestate.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and of course, you're invited to join us on the radio here. The toll-free number, 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And if you're feeling bored on the internet and you've run out of things to do, I would ask, have you gone to liberty.menu yet and added your business to that site? It's a great site. It is something that libertarians have long been asking for, which is to say a directory of liberty-oriented businesses. People who are running businesses wherever it is in the world that would like to have more freedom-friendly customers. So this is the point of liberty.menu, is to bring those two groups of people together. So whether you're a business owner or a customer, potential customer, if you're somebody who's an individual who rejects the initiation of force and agrees to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle, you qualify to use liberty.menu. So get on over there and add whatever items that you have. It's not just for business. It's also maybe you've got a liberty event of some sort. I know the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire has got their convention coming up this month, and that is listed over at liberty.menu. So events, also digital content, something that you've created that's now online, for instance, you want to share with other people. This is another way to get some potential eyes on that. And it's completely free to use the site. So really, there's no reason not to do it. Just go to liberty.menu and you can add whatever you want there. In fact, there's not a limit. It's all free. So head on over to liberty.menu. Joining you in the studio tonight, by the way, I'm Ian. We've also got
Brian
and Mark.
And so, of course, here, 855-450, free like freedom. That's our toll-free number. That's 855-450-3733. We're talking about phone boredom. And according to thedailybeast.com, they say that it hits when you've cycled through everything there is to do on your device and you're left feeling stranded. Now, they say that it's important to note that the majority of the time users spend on their phones, they do spend engaged. Tech companies go to exorbitant lengths to keep users active and attentive. If you're posting photos, you're commenting, you're reading, or watching something on your phone, they say you're not phone bored. But Sarah, who's 14 in New York, describes it this way. She says, quote, I'll go on Insta, that's Instagram, and it's just
too long of a word to get all the way through it, huh? All right.
She says it's just people.
I hate people. You know that, right? Like just all of them. And it goes down as far as chronological age as to how much I like them.
Well, I don't know if she's speaking to them or if this is a text response that she, sent them.
LOL.
Who knows? Although that's the only shortened word here in the paragraph.
Right.
She says, I'll go on Insta, and it's just people all talking about the same things. I'm like, I already heard that, or I already saw that. It's like when you've seen everything there is to see in your Insta feed.
This is a 14-year-old girl, right? Okay.
I just got a little internet bored hearing her talk.
Really?
Right.
If I'm honest.
I started out a little internet bored, too. Yeah.
She says it's like when you've seen everything there is to see on your Insta feed or on the internet. We see the
She's
same
seen everything that there is to see on the internet. I wonder if rotten.com still is up.
I bet it is.
I don't think I want to type. I'll go into incognito.
We see the same lip gloss, the same eyebrow style, the same meme like 14 times. It all gets old, and then you get bored. Violet, who's 15 years old in the UK, says, quote, sometimes I feel like I've seen everything there is to see on the internet. I'll circle around on different sites or apps. Sometimes I feel like I've reached the end of the internet. I'll just watch the same videos on YouTube until eventually I'm so bored I start clicking random things on my phone.
I hate these people.
There was a book that came out a couple years ago called Hooked, and that was about. Do you know this book?
No, but we have talked about internet addiction. Is that what it's about?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so it's called Hooked, and it was about how they were deliberately taking a lot of the principles from classical conditioning and from basically slot machines and building those into the social media apps. That's why all of them are based around this infinite feed.
Right, because you can keep scrolling.
Yes, because you can keep
There's
scrolling
always
forever.
Content just a scroll away.
Yep.
And I mean, and I think that probably the worst offenders on this are things like Warhammer and these morgues. Is that what they're called? The massively multiplayer online role-playing games.
Mm-hmm.
And these things are obviously, I mean, you pay a fee monthly to participate, and I mean, sometimes every once in a while you'll find some story of some Asian who's killed themselves playing it. Just didn't get up from their seat, and finally their heart couldn't get all the blood out of their butt anymore, and they're dead.
So does the book address the gaming issue, or is it just social media that they look at?
Well, it talks about all of it. Mm-hmm. Like under the hood, it's all roughly the same principles, which is you're trying to maximize X, where X is page views or number of minutes spent on the site or whatever. Yeah, in addiction research, they talk about the difference between a kind of like a flow or like a dull gambling and a thrill-based gambling, and most of the internet is based around the dull feeling. Yeah, people who just basically kind of want to totally zone out as a way to avoid, problems, feelings, whatever, as opposed to kind of, Dostoevsky freaking out, throwing dice, going for the big thrill as a way to avoid things.
I watched a horse race. I don't remember even where we were. That I ended up at some. We were in West Palm. After the North American Bitcoin conference, we went to my wife's aunt's house, and I guess there's a horse track there. And somehow or another, we ended up, at a horse track. I don't know. We didn't place any bets that I can recall. We're not sort of the gambling type, but I love seeing the animals. And I would think that that's kind of the thrill because, Jack and I, my son and I were trying to, decide which horse was going to be first. And I'm just looking at the, which one is most likely to win. I'm going to take the one with the best odds and go with that. And, whereas Jack's, he's picking colors and favorite, the way the horse looks. Yeah. Right. He's got his preferences, and I'm sure they're based on something that's important to him. But, he was right once, by the way. He did beat Dad. So,
Is that legal to take somebody who's under 18 gambling?
You could take them to the track. There were plenty of young people at the track. Obviously, they wouldn't have let him in if it wasn't appropriate. They're happy to sell him $5 French fries there. Yeah.
Okay, I gotcha. Hey, let's talk to Ralph. He's in Old Town, Maine. You can call in about whatever's on your mind here on Free Talk Live. Doesn't have to be internet addiction or boredom now. Go ahead, Ralph.
Hi.
Hey there.
About media consolidation and Colin Powell.
What about him?
Yeah. Well, the other night when I called in, I was talking about Senator McCain and how he was a traitor. Remember that?
I don't remember.
Neither do the listeners. So if you have to reference it, you have to bring us all back up to date.
Okay, Colin Powell is he grew up. He speaks Yiddish. He was a Shabbos Goy, which means that he did work for Orthodox Jewish people that they couldn't work on their Sabbath. Well, he started out. So he got advanced, and he was in Vietnam, and you heard of the My Lai massacre.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Well, he covered that up. When the My Lai massacre happened, he came out with relations between American soldiers and Vietnamese people are excellent. That was his quote on the My Lai massacre, where 500 Vietnamese men, women, and children, unarmed, were just totally obliterated. by American troops. Well, anyway, he went on to become the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and the Secretary of Defense and Secretary of State, and we all know, like, how he held up the vial and said, this was uranium from yellow cake uranium from Niger, and they had weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. Yep. So we went in because this general, said to go in, and that's what was going on. Well, anyway, so we know what the outcome was, and it was lies, and so we know he's a liar. We know he, covered up stuff like the My Lai massacre. Works for the government.
There's a good chance
but
he's a liar.
Many people don't realize that his son, Michael Powell, was the chairman of the Federal Communications Commission.
Yep.
He was the president of the National Cable and Telecommunications Commission, and he started the deregulation, which increased rampant media consolidation. So now we have basically 5 large corporations that own over 90% of all the radio, television, billboards, internet content providers.
Yep.
See, this is
2 of them are in bankruptcy.
These traders are advanced.
That's true.
And the globalist agenda is put forward.
I think it's like 15% of the radio stations in America are currently in bankruptcy.
Right, Cumulus and what was known as Clear Channel
iHeartMedia
in bankruptcy. Thank you, Ralph, for the call tonight. So that may mean that those stations will end up getting sold off to smaller owners soon. So there may be deconsolidation coming.
I'm Ryan Burke. I'm the head cider maker at Angry Orchard, and we're in Brittany, France. I wanted to make Angry Orchard rosé cider out of my love for rosé wine. We came here and found these red-fleshed apples. It's a really rare fruit. The apple brings a right, refreshing, natural taste to the cider and a deep, nice pink rosé hue. Our rosé is a little bit less sweet. It's got a really nice balance for any occasion. It's a really refreshing drink.
Angry Orchard Cider Company, Walden, New York. Drink responsibly.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
I tried other brands, but I came back to my Sunshine.
For the best hot or cold pain relief, get the best. Get a Sunny Bay heating pad.
Sometimes life can be a pain in the neck or back or shoulder.
And the best relief for that pain is a Sunny Bay heating pad. Did you know that the American College of Physicians said that one of the best ways to treat muscle pain is heat therapy? Sunny Bay heating pads are handmade with high quality, can be used at home or at work, and have a lifetime 100% positive rating on both Amazon and Etsy.
Why take another pill?
Many people use our Sunny Bay heating pads alone and got rid of the neck pain.
Long distance travel or long hours in front of a computer can take its toll on your body.
See why our homegrown small business at sunny-bay.com has tried to help people just like you. Get your Sunny Bay heating pads at sunny-bay.com. That's sunny-bay.com or call 253-678-1361 for hot and cold therapy. sunny-bay.com.
After this morning's police raid on Cosmopolitan magazine's male pleasure laboratory revealed that test subjects were forced to endure horrific abuses and inhumane living conditions, Onion reporters spoke to 23-year-old Daniel Chertok, one of the numerous men exploited for the monthly magazine's studies on erotic stimulation.
It was awful. They drove us wild for days on end. Once they made me lather myself with gallons of sexy bath oils, and then read thousands of racy text messages until my eyesight began to blur. Then for the next 12 hours, they blasted sultry songs into my ears and made me simulate 50 crazy hot sex moves. They said I couldn't rest until they found the bliss button on my Randy regions.
According to Chertok, test subjects were often subjected to hours of grueling experimentation at the hands of female scientists. Chertok added that many of his fellow subjects were not lucky enough to survive the excruciating treatment.
This is the Onion News Network.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you're helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can bring up anything that you want here. We're talking about kind of two different aspects of the internet and the way people are reacting to it today. Specifically, one term that I'd not heard before, but I can understand it. Phone boredom, something that a lot of teenagers are experiencing, but also others. And then it probably also has a relationship to internet addiction as well, to where, you're constantly online, but you've run out of things to do. And so therefore you find yourself, as a couple of these teens have said in the story here at the Daily Beast, feeling like they've hit the end of the internet. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian,
Brian,
and Mark.
Don't forget, you can go to bitcoin.com to learn the basics about the very first cryptocurrency, decentralized cryptocurrency to take the world by storm. Bitcoin is still a thing. And in fact, I've got an interesting article tonight about why Bitcoin will probably remain on top for the foreseeable future.
Of the cryptocurrencies? So top of what?
The top of cryptocurrencies. Why Bitcoin is special is the name of the article. It was really interesting. If we get the chance, we'll tell you about that. But there's also on deck here transhumanism that we can talk about. But if you want to share your thoughts, you're welcome to join us. The toll-free number is 855-450, free like freedom. Again, if you want to learn about Bitcoin, go to bitcoin.com. There's no easier address to remember and no better place to go to get started. That's bitcoin.com. As we continue here with the dailybeast.com, interviewing teenagers, so far I think all female teenagers, about being bored on their phones. So even though they've got this connection to the world's knowledge, to the sum accumulation of
the sum total of human knowledge sets in their hands, and they're bored.
They're bored
because their friends' Instagram accounts don't have new memes on them.
Right.
Time to take a nap.
Basically, what the last one said. A depression nap is
depression nap.
Some people do.
God.
Ariana is a 14-year-old in Florida. She says she thinks phone boredom disproportionately strikes teens, since she and others like her have grown up with social media and mobile phone technology. She said she got her first phone in 6th grade, and after a few months, it began to get old. Quote, when you first get social media, your first initial thoughts are like, whoa, this is so cool. You're commenting, liking, following pages, interacting. You're not bored, and it's a great distraction. Over time, you get used to the feeling and scrolling and viewing people's pics and posts and stories, and that makes you feel bored after a while. You start looking for other things to do or just letting your mind wander. And if this does result in people looking for other things to do, then I think that's great. Like, if that's the end result of being bored on your phone, is people actually
I suspect these things aren't productive that they're finding to do.
Yeah. Well, as she says, it's a great distraction. So the idea being that social networking isn't any kind of
I love that
work.
she knows that it's a distraction.
Right.
I mean, I like that.
There are several ways to relieve phone boredom.
Like, there's real life, and then there's the thing you do on your phone.
Obviously, the most simple solution would be to log off, put your phone away, and as parents love to say, go outside. And many teens do just that, or get involved in other offline projects. Sarah said she got so bored by her phone once she logged off and made some taglines for her grandfather's ribbon company, one of which got used by the company in a national magazine ad. But often phone-bored teens seek a solution on their phones themselves. Like anyone, they'll text and hit up friends, post in a group chat, or come up with weird new creative projects to excite their mind. It could take the form of a new themed Instagram or Twitter account. So just open up another social media account under some other theme, or creating elaborate.
You need themes for your social media account? I thought social media kind of was this. The theme is me.
Or create new types of memes. Maddie, who's 15 in Texas, says she started her popular meme page while deep in the midst of phone boredom. She says, Quote, I was just refreshing my personal Instagram account over and over. Like, I'm so bored I hate this. I want to find a new community to get into. She eventually set up a new meme page and found new topics and people and ideas to explore. Others spoke about creating art on their phones or making video or music remixes using various apps in order to alleviate phone boredom. There is, however, a fine line between phone boredom and engaging in the type of unhealthy behavior on social media that can leave users feeling depressed and drained. We have talked about that in the past as well, where they're showing studies or whatever, but that people who are using, teenagers especially, using social media more so than those who don't, tend towards depression more so than those who aren't on social media. Which now is, again, is it chicken or the egg?
Yeah.
But
do depressed people use social media?
Yeah, still very
interesting. Are they reaching out, finally finding somebody who's going to listen to them ramble?
So some of the behavior that could leave someone feeling depressed and drained includes the type of mindless scrolling that can lead to boredom and, according to Facebook, encompasses browsing unmeaningful content without engaging. As groups like the Time Well Spent movement gain traction, even Facebook itself is working to revamp its product to create more, quote, meaningful social interactions, unquote, and curb borderline phone boredom. I know that Will Coley, the host of Call to Freedom, quit in frustration. He quit Facebook yesterday after having spent an entire day, apparently on Sunday, arguing with someone over some, petty thing.
Yeah,
on Facebook.
For me, I find that every couple of weeks I fall into that trap of arguing with somebody on Facebook. That's not what I want to do there.
It's certainly not productive.
And it's not my intent, but somehow or another I end up there having some kind of semantic battle or some kind of philosophical argument with somebody or something like that. And I can't tell you how many times people have said, very few times have people said to me, man, you've really changed my opinion. Oh, thanks for taking the time with me. Mostly it's like, you're an a-hole. Shut up.
Blocked.
Yeah. Fine. I mean, I don't get blocked that often because I don't cuss.
Yeah.
Like my hard, fast rule is I will not cuss at you. You can call me all the names you want to call me, and I will not do it.
The people who argue with you on Facebook sound like Grandpa from The Simpsons in your head.
I don't know what they sound like, but I can't say that I'm. It's just non-productive activity. Why am I?
Not that you were necessarily being productive before the argument started.
Here's my question. Two things happen. One, I give my time to someone whom I don't know, like my valuable seconds on this planet. I give them away to some jerk. And I'm unhappy after I did. That is not an exchange that I should continue to interact in.
Right.
Because they may be wrong and they may be sitting on the internet, but I don't change that. They walk away confident in their ignorance. And what's the point of that? Why do I continue to make the same mistake over and over again and give these people?
Because you're there?
Yeah, it's not activism. Yeah. If it was activism, you'd accomplish something.
Right. Yeah, Facebook is not activism, and it never really was. It was always a supposed way to get people to connect with one another. But if by connecting with so many people you've connected with people that are undesirable, then it's not really helping. Ariana and other teens say that they hate when their parents tell them the amount of time they're spending on their phone is unhealthy. She admitted that, yes, sometimes she's not using her phone in the most productive way, but she said that it's also opened up an entire new world and brought, quote, so much good stuff, unquote, into her life. When she gets phone bored, zones out, and stares at her screen, she doesn't freak out about it. She says, quote, older people don't really like technology. They're always trying to put it down or not accept it. She says further that it's so important that older generations realize we're not just obsessed with our phones. It's so much more than that.
I don't know what
I don't know what that means. Yeah. Older people, she says, think that our world will end because we all have this access to social media and technology that our minds are going to stop evolving or something. I've heard that many times. It's not true at all, unquote.
No, we're going to stop evolving if because of a lack of natural selection. Currently, stupid, inferior people don't die as a result of living, right? So, the infant mortality rate is quite low, and we have all kinds of ways to repair people who do dumb things. As a matter of fact, YouTube's full of them. Watch the skateboard fail. Just put that in and watch the amount of people that should
try really dumb ideas on a skateboard.
Young men who would not have transferred genetic information onto progeny 1,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago, are now able to do so.
Are you arguing against skateboard helmets?
I'm
saying they should take a spill and crack their head
I'm
open.
arguing against human fertility.
Yeah. So going on here, Adam Perkins is a researcher and lecturer in the Department of Psychological Medicine at King's College in London. Said phone boredom may even be a good thing. Sometimes. He said that it could potentially stop children from engaging in more destructive thought patterns or daydreaming, which can lead to unhappiness. He also cautioned worried adults from jumping to conclusions about smartphones ruining kids' brains. Certainly, technology can be addictive and has undeniable effects, but are those worse than things previous generations dealt with? Debatable. He said that evolution takes a long time to catch up with technology. Smartphones came out 10 years ago. It's not enough time to change kids' evolution of their brains. I think I'm quite optimistic about the benefits of smartphones. They are a good thing.
Well, what they say about so many of these programs, I guess, is that they're, they hit very ancient dopamine centers and these sorts of things. It's not that they're new; it's they're mimicking old stuff.
Coming up, transhumanism will take technology to a completely different level, and Brian, who's joining us as a special guest, he's not a fan, from what I understand. We'll talk about that, and you can share your thoughts. Are you a transhumanist? You're welcome to share your thoughts here on Free Talk Live. Hour 2's next.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $9.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees, ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, April 3rd, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.61 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,341 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $21, and the average price of Bitcoin is $7,361. Antiwar.com reports witnesses are reporting a large number of civilians were killed in the Kunduz province of northern Afghanistan on Monday following an attack by the Afghan military. The attack hit a mosque attached to a religious school and at least 70 people were killed. Reportedly, the attack came during a large ceremony to recognize graduates of the school and to appoint new mullahs for the religious school. Around 1,000 people were in attendance, and there were speculation that some of the Taliban figures were present. The district governor, Nasruddin Saadi, said there were armed militants present at the religious event and that this was the reason security forces decided to attack. This was apparently done irrespective of civilian danger. The Afghan Defense Ministry told a different story. In keeping with their attempts to manage the narrative on big events, the ministry insists the mosque rally wasn't religious in nature and that it was a Taliban forces massing for a sneak attack. Despite a number of small children and other obvious civilians being slain, the Defense Ministry insisted everyone killed was a terrorist. They also insisted that only 21 people were killed despite everyone else reporting at least 70. Are you an advocate for free market money? Do you promote Bitcoin as an alternative in a fiat-centric world? Then you need Spendabit in your arsenal, the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spendabit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Visit spendabit.co today. Bitcoin merchants, ask about our merchant suite to reach even more customers. Spendabit.co. UPI reports the U.S. Department of Justice sued the state of California on Monday over a law allowing the state to block U.S. government from selling federal land. The lawsuit seeks an injunction against California Senate Bill 50, which requires the federal government to give the state's land commission the option to buy federal land before it can be transferred to another owner because the DOJ claims it is unconstitutional. Attorney General Jeff Sessions said the Constitution empowers the federal government, not the state legislatures, to decide when and how federal lands are sold. California was admitted to the Union upon the express condition that it would never interfere with the disposal of federal land, and yet once again the California legislature has enacted an extreme state law attempting to frustrate federal policy. California State Senator Ben Allen, who authored the legislation, told the Washington Post the law was very carefully crafted and intended to ensure that the state would have the chance to intervene if the federal government sought to sell land worthy of conservation. The DOJ argues SB 50 violates the supremacy clause of the U.S. Constitution, which states federal law shall be the supreme law of the land, and the judges in every state shall be bound thereby. The DOJ's complaint also listed land transfers by the U.S. Army, Navy, and Department of Veterans Affairs affected by the law. California Attorney General Xavier Becerra said he was prepared as always to do what it takes to protect our people, our resources, and our values. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports the U.S. Supreme Court on Monday sided with an Arizona police officer in a case testing the constitutional limits for the use of force, throwing out a lawsuit brought against him by a woman he shot 4 times in her driveway while she held a large kitchen knife. Over the dissent of 2 of the liberal justices, the court overturned a 2016 lower court ruling that had allowed the civil rights lawsuit seeking at least $150,000 in damages from University of Arizona Police Department Corporal Andrew Casella to proceed. The wounded woman, Amy Hughes, had accused Casella of using excessive force in the 2010 incident in violation of the U.S. Constitution's Fourth Amendment, which protects against unreasonable searches and seizures. In the case decided on Monday, the court ruled in an unsigned opinion that Casella was entitled to qualified immunity, protecting him from litigation because he did not violate any clearly established law. In a dissent, Justice Sonia Sotomayor wrote that Casella's conduct was unreasonable and the court should not shield him from liability. Sotomayor criticized the court's decision as another example of its unflinching willingness to reverse lower courts when they deny officers immunity. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
George W. Bush may be retired from politics, but he's keeping busy with his new hobby of painting. Today, the Picasso-in-chief tweeted his latest picture, a turkey sandwich and glass of lemonade in front of the ghost of the Iraqi child that follows him everywhere. Rebecca Mira has been following the flourishing art career. He's pretty good, Rebecca.
Yeah, well, Rachel, Bush doesn't claim to be a great artist, but as he put it, not bad for an old man, huh?
Not bad at all. He says he likes painting simple things he sees in everyday life, like his dogs, that dead Iraqi child. You can see that Bush's art is improving over time if you take a look. At first, he could barely draw the Iraqi child's transparent hands, but now they look much more realistic.
Much more. You know, I'm not surprised that he's getting better. Bush practices constantly.
And Laura Bush says he's more focused than ever, locks himself away for hours at a time and won't talk to anyone while he's painting.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder if history will look back on Bush as a politician or the next Rembrandt. Up next, a study found that drinking red wine once a day can help the body get hammered.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. We're launching into the second hour of the program. You can take control of the airwaves here. You can bring up anything that you want to discuss. The toll-free number is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype, and the Skype username is lrn.fm. We started out talking about phone boredom. People are, teenagers especially, finding that they feel like they've reached the end of the internet on their devices and proceed to get bored, flipping around through apps and such in order to try to find something to alleviate their boredom. So teen boredom still continues today, despite the fact that they have the access to the world at their fingertips. And that leads us to the next discussion that we're having. It's Ian and Mark as normal. Joining us in the studio, Brian is here, special guest co-host from Mark's Quaker meeting, who has some very strong opinions about transhumanism. So that's where we're going next, which is the idea of actually becoming the phone or melding the phone into you. In other words, I'll give an explanation here from a website called theconversation.com and a piece that was published within the last week. This is by author David Trippett, senior university lecturer at the University of Cambridge, who writes, biological evolution takes place over generations, but imagine if it could be expedited beyond the incremental change envisaged by Darwin to a matter of individual experience. Such things are dreamt of by so-called transhumanists. Transhumanism has come to connote different things to different people, from a belief system to a cultural movement, a field of study to a technological fantasy. You can't get a degree in transhumanism, but you can subscribe
Not today.
to it. You can invest in it.
You know what? We could get it. Somebody will give you a degree in transhumanism. I'm sure
if
of
you
it.
pay them enough, they might. You can research its actors, and you can act on its tenets. So what is it? The term transhumanism gained widespread currency in 1990, following its formal inauguration by Max Moore, the CEO of Alcor Life Extension Foundation.
I have interviewed him, and I am a member of Alcor.
Alcor being that company that I believe you're going to, when
I die,
away,
they're going to cut my head off and put it in a a stock pot, yes.
But a cold
very cold stock pot.
Yeah, and then the idea being that at some point they may have some way of accessing the mark that's in there.
You know, there is a fat-based computer sitting inside my head, and maybe they'll be able to turn that, turn it off and turn it back on again.
On later.
We'll see.
That's the idea. And you've paid them to perform this service, so you are fully on board with this concept.
So they have memberships, and you basically pay when you're dead. As you die, you leave them money or whatever is the shtick. So I haven't paid them to do that yet.
I see.
And maybe if I if I get rich or something, I'll do the full Monty and have my whole body put in the liquid nitrogen.
So it refers to an optimistic belief in the enhancement of the human condition through technology in all of its forms. Its advocates believe in fundamentally enhancing the human condition through applied reason and corporeal embrace of new technologies. Corporeal embrace meaning technology in your body, putting it into, the human form. Whether that be something simple like a pacemaker, that would have been sort of perhaps an original small version of a modification, a machine modification to a human body, going up to what I've heard, and I'm sure, I'm by no means an expert on transhumanism. We've talked about it a few times over the years here, but nano machines.
I'm excited about the notion of it. I mean, I for one welcome our new computer overlords. But
did you root for the Borg when you watched Star Trek? Like, which team were you on?
Yeah, the Borg were bad guys. They hit people and stuff. I would think that the computers would be far more convincing.
There's been talk about...
and you think Cyborg Mark is definitely going to be a libertarian?
I don't have any... I would think quite the opposite. I would think once the the hive mind kicks in, that libertarianism is out the window. The libertarians will slowly breed. There'll be this sort of breeding, festering nest sitting outside of the the hive mind.
You think so?
Well, what else would they be? Can you be liberty-oriented and still plugged in and thinking with everybody, thinking all at the same time, or whatever it is.
I don't even understand what that is like, or what that could
who
be.
knows? But I'm pretty sure your opinions will be tempered by other.
Now you're talking about some sort of interlink. You're talking about people's brains being connected. At this point, at this stage in the conversation, we're just talking about humans augmenting themselves, their own body, right, to make it to where nanomachines have been injected in your veins, and these little robots, microscopic robots, are flitting about throughout your body. They're repairing things that go wrong.
Thank goodness.
They're fixing whatever tears and things like that.
Right.
And
you get to live forever, and the only thing you have to trade is your mind.
Well, I mean, we weren't talking about that. Would be another thing. That would be like the linking of minds together, which certainly some people are going to be arguing for, copying consciousness and things like that.
If you've got little nanobots that are controlled by some by the cloud, as it were, yeah, you're plugged in, man.
You're saying they're going to go into your brain and link you up to the internet.
What else would they do?
But before we move on, how quick do they get you when you die? Like, is Alcor going to be waiting at your deathbed, and you're going to be like, "Goodbye, Jack." Cut your head off.
I'd imagine it's going to be a little slow on the response time, right?
They have
different centers.
They have policies. No, you basically call them and say, "I'm feeling sick," and then they kind of get their ready.
Is there a card that's in your wallet where they can go through it if you've had a terrible car accident or something like that, and like call Alcor and get the frozen.
I am trying
gas
desperately
ready.
to avoid a headshot, I can assure you.
Yeah.
They have a necklace that has the 800 number on it that you can wear around your neck, and they have a little bracelet that you can wear, that looks like one of those. I got epilepsy bracelets. You can have one of those that you wear around your wrist. I wear neither of them because I
You're
expect
not taking
to die.
this too seriously.
I expect to die of old age, and then is all you have to do at that point. If you expect to die of old age, Scottsdale has great hospitals. Go there.
That's where their agency is. Gotcha. Scottsdale, Arizona. Who else lives there?
I took the tour. Yeah, and there's lots of people that. And Ernie's there, but I suspect I will outlast Ernest Hancock.
So let me go on here with the definition of transhumanism from theconversation.com. So again, talking about corporeal embrace of new technologies, people embracing technology into their body for shoring up its strength, its longevity, and so on. It's rooted in the belief that humans can and will be enhanced by the genetic engineering and information technology of today, as well as anticipated advances such as bioengineering, artificial intelligence, and molecular nanotechnology. The result is an iteration of Homo sapiens, enhanced or augmented, but still fundamentally human. Now, when you hear that, you're laughing, Brian. So what's funny about that?
Well, I'm laughing mostly about the optimism behind all of it. Like, there's somehow these ideas, like, it's a miracle to me that anybody who programs a computer day to day thinks AI is right around the corner. Like, if you miss one semicolon, it's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Syntax error.
Yeah, AI is basically the foundation of this whole transhumanism argument, because without the AI, humans' brains aren't really big enough to, at this point, figure out. Well, okay, here's the narrative. I don't know any of this stuff, but here's the narrative. The narrative is we build a computer that is finally sentient and that can control, say, a robot arm, right? And that can make more computers. That sentient robot is as smart as the smartest computer programmer out there, right? So that robot then goes and makes a computer that is twice as smart as it is in that particular area.
You're talking about the singularity.
Yeah. Well, this is all mixed up together.
Yeah, it is. But I just want to make sure we get
robot,
terms out.
Once the robot of the robot of the robot of the robot, as it continues to build the Skynet, right?
That the iPhones were coming out fast. Just wait.
Right. That robot can work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It doesn't need to take a break, and it doesn't make the mistakes that we make and all those things. It doesn't care about patents. None of that stuff.
It can change its own programming. It can upgrade itself.
Right. So that robot is
the idea is it would not need humans to interfere.
Presumably, once they can create that robot can then solve the problem of, put together the pieces of DNA or whatever it takes to make humans live longer. Maybe they upload their consciousness to the internet.
Unless, of course, it decides to exterminate them instead, right? Isn't that the big fear?
It makes for a good movie.
Well, right now, Brian, you've referenced the Borg already. I mean, is a lot of where you're coming.
I reference Skynet.
And we're going to continue. Is a lot of where, anti-transhumanism, is it coming from fear of technology? we'll come back here. I'll let you discuss that.
We can do that when you come
the
back.
toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And you can jump in here as well. It's Free Talk Live.
What is it costing you in vet bills for that convenience of just pulling open a bag of
formulated, extruded, processed cereal bits that cost a ton of money anyways?
How do you feed your dog to derive not only energy, but a good coat, bright eyes, and a great attitude?
Come to Dynovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
I found his raw meat diet on Dynovite.com with just the raw meat and the eggs and the Dynovite and the Super Omega on top of it.
Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
Ground beef, white rice, eggs, including the shells, and the Dynovite supplement, and then the Lico Chops.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
It just balances out his body and his mind and his spirit.
Adding Dynovite to their diet has every single dog in my kennel looking better than they have ever looked.
Their skin is so much better now that they're on the raw diet. I don't even give them the kibble anymore.
DINOVITE.com.
I'm Ryan Burke. I'm the head cider maker at Angry Orchard, and we're in Brittany, France. I wanted to make Angry Orchard rosé cider out of my love for rosé wine. We came here and found these red-fleshed apples. It's a really rare fruit. The apple brings a right, refreshing, natural taste to the cider and a deep, nice pink rosé hue. Our rosé is a little bit less sweet. It's got a really nice balance for any occasion. It's a really refreshing drink.
Angry Orchard Cider Company, Boredom, New York. Drink responsibly.
Zencash is an end-to-end encrypted system with zero-knowledge technology over which communications, data, or value can be securely transmitted and stored. With over 7,500 secure nodes, Zencash has one of the most distributed node systems of any cryptocurrency. Zencash is a platform for cryptocurrency and communications built by voluntarists for voluntarists, with the ideas of voluntary interaction being written into the white paper no less than half a dozen times. Learn more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you got to keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. You can bring up whatever you want here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype, and the Skype username is LRN.FM. In the studio here tonight, I'm Ian.
Brian.
And Mark.
And I do want to let you know about Zencash. We've been talking a lot about Zencash here on Free Talk Live because, well, they're libertarians who started Zencash. Voluntarists, even. They wrote in voluntarism into the white paper for Zencash. You can see it for yourself over at zencash.com. I did check the CoinMarketCap today, and there are now 1,600 cryptocurrencies, at least that they've cataloged. There may be more than that out there in the world that just aren't big enough to even make it onto that site. So let's call it at least 1,600 cryptocurrencies out there. Everybody knows about Bitcoin, but what about the other 1,599 of them? How do you decide if you're going to get into something else, if you want to diversify your cryptocurrency portfolio? What do? How do you make that decision? Well, you should look at Zencash because they've got some of the best technology out there, like zero-knowledge anonymity. So privacy built right in to Zencash, something that you can use to keep your money private, and also your messages. There's even a messaging system that's encrypted built into Zencash. They've got more than 8,000 secure nodes, which means that Zencash is one of the most secure networks of any cryptocurrency in the world. So it was founded by libertarians, created by voluntarists, and it's got some of the best technology. They're working on the decentralized autonomous organizations to govern the currency as well. So they've got some really cool tech behind the scenes, and they love freedom. Zencash.com is where you can go to learn more. That's zencash.com. As we continue to discuss transhumanism, Brian is with us as a special guest host here tonight, and he is not a fan of transhumanism. And so I just sort of asked the question a moment ago. You'd brought up the Borg, of course, Skynet. Mark, you mentioned that earlier. The idea of transhumanism briefly is humans augmenting their bodies with technology, many of them with the intention of living forever, with never actually dying. Mark, you also brought up the Singularity, which is the idea of machines and artificial intelligence getting to the point where they can kind of upgrade themselves, where they don't really need human assistance to do that anymore. And some people believe that we're going to see that happen within the next few decades.
I think the dates that they threw out there were like 2035 to 2040, somewhere in there.
But the dates they threw out there were 1980, circa 1955.
I mean, Brian, you'd referenced the Borg, the classic anti freedom, this collective mindset robot race from Star Trek, and sort of with the suggestion that this could lead there. Is this based?
No, I don't think it's that at all.
Okay,
I think it for me, it's not being scared that like the Borg or Voltron or somebody is like hiding in the closet and is going to jump out and get me on my way home tonight. It's that, if I think in a liberty-minded way, I feel like the environment is an absolutely irreplaceable and irreducible part of my liberty. Like, I don't know how to make oxygen. Mm-hmm. I don't know how to make food. I don't know how to break down, dead wood. Like, I'm dependent on the environment for all of these things. And so that means
Sounds accurate.
Yeah. And so then there's a question like, okay, well, that's fine, but are we right about to replace all that? And it's like, I find that the idea that we're right about to replace it completely infeasible.
Replace all of
the different ecosystem functions.
So
that my well-being, my freedom is contingent on.
I haven't made that jump yet. Now, you've been looking into this for a long time. I don't know when you say you're replacing all that stuff, what's the difference between some, big computer figuring out how to fiddle with my DNA so that I live forever like a lobster versus this ecosystem claim that you're making? I'm lost.
There's a lot of things. I saw the other day that Walmart filed a patent for drone-like bees to do all the pollination of plants, and it's like, so somewhere under the hood in all of these discussions, I think it's an implicit assumption that because we've gotten good at board games like chess from an artificial intelligence and technological perspective, we're about to replace the entire ecosystem.
Well, they went from chess to Go to Jeopardy to Go, and I mean, it looks like there's this speed at which computers are kicking humans' butts at
board games.
At board games, but I mean that one presumes that these are different tasks with different things that are going on. I mean, whatever Deep Blue or whoever it was that beat Jeopardy. Jeopardy's more than a board game. It's trivia, right? So it's asking a wide range of topics. Obviously, it can do faster lookups than I can on on Google.
Yeah, and I think it dates back to like how complex is, say, a teaspoon of soil compared to like the game of chess. So are we about to, does being good at one mean that we're about to be good at another? And a teaspoon of healthy soil will have 1 trillion different organisms in it. Like it's many. It will have
far more moves than on a chessboard, as well.
Yeah, drastically more, but drastically more complicated than like all of humanity, because it's going to be tens of thousands of different species as well. And so, I mean, there's two different questions. Like, can we replace nature? And
should
we replace nature? And it's like, even if we could, which I'm quite pessimistic about, sort of any type of commitment to non-aggression or something, like why I would extend that to Mark but not nature is not immediately clear to me, and never has been.
Well, we've had this conversation on the air many times about sort of non-aggression and its and extending it to beasts that we eat, right? And I don't know where you fall on that, but I'd be happy to talk about it and start that conversation. So the idea is that, well, for instance, a person who's in a vegetative state, not a lot of cognition going on there. A pig supposedly has about the cognition of a 3-year-old human being. It'd be dastardly to kill the 3-year-old human being, but we kill pigs all the time. We support the factory farming killing of pigs. So big whoop, right?
I think there's a difference between thinking about like an individual pig and thinking about pigs per se, and then thinking about mammals per se, and then thinking about animals, and then thinking about the ecosystem.
Yep.
And I think as you go out on each one of those steps, it becomes less okay to kill something. Because there's plenty of pigs, and pigs can reproduce themselves. I mean, I tend towards veganism, but I'm not a vegan. And I think the idea that you even could produce food without killing any animals doesn't seem true.
No, I don't think you could either.
So it's not a purity thing, but it's like, could we produce a flourishing human society without killing the ecosystem? Like, yeah, that's a live option on the table.
Yeah.
It's probably not a live option.
I'm for that. And I don't feel like wanting to live forever or have what they don't call it immortality, they call it something else. But
the transhumanists?
The transhumanists call it like potentially ongoing life or something.
Is that because the word immortality is like too tied in with vampires?
No,
or
immortality is more like you're the god of thunder, right? Like you're durable and you're not able to die, whereas your life going on,
you get rid of planned senescence or something.
It doesn't mean a car can't kill you.
All right, hold that thought. I'm going to go to Douglas. He's in Manchester, New Hampshire. Douglas, you're on Free Talk Live with Ian, Mark, and Brian.
Hey, guys.
Hey there. You're on the air.
So I was wondering, I thought Mark was a Christian. Is that not the case?
I am a Quaker, but and I
talk about that.
I'm a Quaker and a theist. I don't know if I'm going to take Christian, but I'm willing to talk about it.
Let's do that here in moments. Your calls, your thoughts, welcome. 855-450 free like freedom. Does transhumanism necessarily mean that robots are going to replace all of nature? I mean, I'd never heard it talked about that way, so we can get deeper into that as well. Your thoughts are welcome. You can take control of the airwaves at 855-450 free like freedom. This is Free Talk Live.
Face it, today's electric power grid is more vulnerable than ever. From natural disasters to EMP attacks and hacking, the grid could be crippled for days or even decades in the most dire scenarios. Visit quantumharvest.net to see our built-to-last EMP-protected solar power systems. While millions suffer, you'll have vital power for water pumps, refrigeration, and sanitation. Now that's peace of mind. EMP-protected solar power systems for every need and budget. See our full range at quantumharvest.net.
Water is the single most important thing your body needs, so you want to be sure it's the best for you and your family. Since 2005, thousands have depended on Berkey purified water. The Berkey Guy provides the lowest priced filtration systems in every size. For incredibly delicious water now and in an emergency, get to goberkey.com or call 877-886-3653. 877-886-3653. goberkey.com.
Uncovering the secrets and exposing the lies. That's what the readers of freedomsphoenix.com get every day. freedomsphoenix.com, constantly providing the information, the real news about government policies, and the real relationship we all have with the coercive government. The real condition of the economy, innovations in technology, breakthroughs in energy, health, and computer science. Learn the truth well before it's admitted to in the lamestream media. The corporate media, nothing more than distributors of government propaganda, but now there's an alternative. freedomsphoenix.com. Constant news updates on the issues that affect your life in the most important ways. With liberty and property under constant attack, freedomsphoenix.com provides the understanding behind the propaganda, and it encourages the participation of its readers. Go to freedomsphoenix.com. That's freedoms with an S, phoenix.com. freedomsphoenix.com. The revolution between the ears has already happened.
Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450, free like freedom, 855-450-3733. Some people are seeking immortality, or some other combination of words that Mark couldn't exactly recall, that the transhumanists are working towards to augment themselves with technology. It's Ian and Mark in the studio. Our special guest is Brian here with us. He's somebody who's not a big fan of transhumanism, so we're going to get deeper into that. But there was actually a question on the line a moment ago, Mark, for you about, are you a Christian? The gentleman who had called to ask that question dropped off the line shortly after he asked the question.
Then let me address it sort of generally. I would say that no, I'm not a Christian unless you're talking from sort of a broader cultural sense. Either way, it's Christianity itself is not something I hate or despise. Probably what he's asking is if you're going to have your head chopped off and put in a stock pot, presumably you're doing that with the hope of being brought back to life at some point in the future.
And isn't that against God?
What happens if you're in heaven? You've passed through the pearly gates. You're walking down the golden streets. You're hanging out in your mansion and whatever the heck else goes on in heaven, and you're brought back. Well, first off, I think that there may be a theological debate. I'm not sure that the whole heaven thing occurs until the judgment day. My understanding of Jesus has to come back. Jesus is preparing heaven as they speak. So I could presumably come back and hang out until Judgment Day happens, at which point that I would go to heaven. I'm not sure if God doesn't want me to come back, I wouldn't be able to come back, right?
Otherwise, it wouldn't be God.
Right. So there's no I don't see a problem there from a Christian or theological standpoint. Now, you have me answering a question as a Christian, which I am not. So, your mileage may vary. I do have enough of the knowledge surrounding the dogma that I think I can do it, and I don't think it would violate a liberal interpretation of the Bible, but a conservative interpretation, of which there are legion, then I can't answer that, because the conservative interpretation is your interpretation, and you decide on the verses you want to be important.
Doug is back, by the way.
Okay,
he
great.
did call back in. Doug, did you hear much of that response from Mark?
Yeah. Yep. And that's understandable if he thinks everybody's going to die at once for people to go to heaven. I mean, but I just thought most people leave when you go to the other side. And going into a computer would be like being in a comatose on this earth. You're stuck between both worlds. And who knows if they're going to put a program into that computer sometime. I mean, you could just end up working for some AI for a million years.
You just become a online mechanical Turk, essentially.
You're working one of those how can I help you chat things
I am
for the rest of eternity.
The equivalent of sitting in a cell answering telephone calls or whatever one might do in that circumstance. It certainly could happen. I don't know.
That's the definition of hell.
Yeah. Well, there are many that would argue I deserve it. So
there you go, Doug. Anything else you want to share tonight?
All right, thanks.
Thanks for the call, man.
No,
I appreciate
thanks, guys.
it. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Let's go to Big Loaf. He's on the line on our Discord on-air call-in line chat room. Go ahead, Big Loaf.
Yeah, I was calling about the internet boredom. I guess it's sort of apropos with all this talk about the singularity, right? With the singularness of conscious, because I would guess like millennials or whatever would get bored with it eventually. I mean, who could really get bored with the internet? You know how many things I've read about in like the last week, like the heptocracy of medieval England and a couple of clades and like the tree of life. Really, is it a thing to get bored of the internet, or are they just like bored of learning?
It's a good question.
It's hard. Don't expect me to be gentle with Generation Z, because I'm certainly not with the millennials, and frankly, I'm not that fond of Generation X or, the silent generation or the baby boomers either. Yeah, I just don't like. I just don't like people generally. But I think that if you're talking about
only because you can see yourself in them, Mark.
Yeah, I would agree. I would say that I don't like the mistakes I've made. I'm adamantly against making the mistakes that I have made in the past. And when I see people making those mistakes, and one of those mistakes is articulating boredom, because in my household, as I said previously, when I was growing up, if you articulated boredom, my grandmother had tasks all lined up, ready to go. This lady ironed her sheets. Wow. I mean, wow. You have a strong Calvinist work ethic if you iron your sheets.
Big Loaf, any other thoughts you want to share?
I don't know. I mean, it seems almost like kids these days. I mean, that's generalizing. I get that, but it doesn't change my perception that there's this, I don't know, hatred of learning, right? Like, learning shouldn't be a thing. Just stay in your bubble, and your feelings are all that matter, right? I mean, maybe it's just me. Anyways, I thought that was sort of kind of interesting. We're talking about people getting bored. I don't get bored of the internet. There's too much cool stuff out there.
Yeah,
but
like
anyways,
being bored is absolutely your fault. Wherever it is that you are, if you're bored, then you need to change your mindset.
Yeah,
get a list of things that are important, and do that.
Yeah, I mean, find a list of things you want to learn about, for goodness sakes, and learn about those things. Even if those things are Star Wars and Minecraft, I don't care what they are. Just so long as you're working on something, your brain's got something to chew on. Then, to my mind, you're growing at the very least. Then at that point, you can start. You have the skill set to learn other things, and the ability to learn is extraordinarily important, obviously. But I do find myself, for instance, when it comes to computer-type tasks, I'm immediately like, Ian, take care of this crap. And I don't want to learn. I don't want to learn how to do this. I don't want to learn how to interface with this thing, whatever it is. I don't want to do it.
Just like, grandma who can't program the VCR, just cannot. Well, does not want to.
The funny thing is, in my life, I'm the one to whom these tasks are handed off. My wife and my mother have me do these tasks for them. So I can do, like, program the VCR, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that's good, Mark. It's progress.
It's something.
Big Loaf, thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you there on the Discord on-air call-in line chat room, which you can jump into as well. As soon as he exits, it's available for somebody else. So go to discord.lrn.fm. to do that. So we were talking about the idea of, Brian, it almost sounded like you were talking about replacing nature, and you cited an article or a news story about Walmart having some kind of robot drone bees that
they issued a patent
that they've patented.
They issued a patent for it. I don't know if it went through or what happened. It's just something that I saw, but I think it's indicative of a type of thinking where we want to start replacing all of the functions of an ecosystem. And it's like, again,
Is it though? Or maybe it's just because I remember there were stories about the bees dying off. Now, I don't know if they've stopped dying off, if they're continuing to die off.
I still hear bee stories, but things that I read say that, we're okay.
But, I mean, if the idea is not what you're suggesting, that we need robots to take over everything in nature, but in fact that, oh crap, something's happening to the bee population, maybe we could supplant that by having a robot bee conduct the same activity that a bee would, which of course is to pollinate, taking pollen from flowers and making honey and things like that. And, do we really need to have it be, if bees go extinct, would it not be a valuable thing to have a little robot drone bee colony doing the exact same thing?
Yeah, so I think at the heart of that is this kind of technological optimism that's, to me, just leads to like a pretty obvious old lady who swallowed a fly type situation where we're just escalating and trying to do more things and more things.
Sure.
Without realizing the kind of amazing gifts we get from the ecosystem. I met
but I don't think, do we think, go ahead with your story. I don't think we can actually replace the ecosystem. I don't think we're capable of it.
Yeah.
So, I don't think we have to worry about doing it because we won't be able to do it.
And I think there's also often I met an astronaut once and I asked him what space was like, and he a little bit said that it's amazing to kind of look out from outer space and see the Earth as one thing. And a little bit, he's also like, it sucks and it's trying to kill you. And there's this...
It's boring.
Yeah, it's just like space is trying to get you. Like, I don't know if you saw The Martian. It's not nice out there. We got to take care of this one. Like, there's not much of the universe.
This little spaceship that we've got is, tenuous.
Yeah. Right, there's more coming up here. You can share your thoughts. We got more on transhumanism, and you can bring up what you want as well. It's Free Talk Live. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom, 855-450-3733.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help. Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite. Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops, get the 3rd bottle free. New improved Lico Chops with omega-6, omega-3, vitamin E, and now 6 extra direct-fed microbials. Even better for the digestive tract and immune system. And dogs love it. Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free. This is Henry Lukasevic for Dynavite.
DINOVITE.com.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
Face it, today's electric power grid is more vulnerable than ever. From natural disasters to EMP attacks and hacking, the grid could be crippled for days or even decades in the most dire scenarios. Visit quantumharvest.net to see our built-to-last EMP-protected solar power systems. While millions suffer, you'll have vital power for water pumps, refrigeration, and sanitation. Now that's peace of mind. EMP-protected solar power systems for every need and budget. See our full range at quantumharvest.net.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people like passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. We invite you to join us here on the toll-free number. It's 855-450-FREE, like freedom. You can talk about transhumanism or whatever is on your mind here tonight. We do have more to say on the transhumanism discussion. Also, you can contact us through Skype at Skype username LRN.FM, or as our last caller did, and our next caller is, on Discord, the Discord on-air call-in line room. You just go to discord.lrn.fm. You can get into our Discord chat, which is a way for you to interact with other Free Talk Live listeners and some of the hosts, usually before, during, or after the show. And it's free, so head over to discord.lrn.fm. Something else you'll want to check out online is $6shirts.com. That is where you can go to get some amazingly affordable and witty and clever t-shirts with a huge selection. I mean, a gigantic selection of shirts at the $6 price point. They do have a few of them that are a little bit more pricey, but the bulk of their inventory is $6 shirts. And go to $6shirts.com. That's the number $6shirts.com. FTL is the code you can put in to get 10% off of your purchase. They do accept Bitcoin, and they're freedom-friendly folks over there at $6 Shirts. Whether it be some of their pop culture shirts, like movie references, they've got a ton of those. There's video game-related shirts, politics-related shirts. I think they've got some sports shirts in there, too. They've just got a bunch of categories. Go and check it out for yourself. And then don't forget code FTL to save 10% off at $6 Shirts. That's the number $6shirts.com. As we continue here, let's go to Gene. He's the Christian anarchist calling from Tennessee on Discord. Hello, Gene.
Hi, guys. Since people are talking about religion today, I thought it's been a long time since I discussed what I believe Christian anarchy is, so I thought I'd call up and talk about that.
Sure. What is it?
Isn't this what Tolstoy believed?
Not exactly.
Okay.
My version is slightly different. I believe that the reason I use the term Christ or Christian is because I do believe that Christ died for us. He paid the price. He did what was necessary to give every man salvation. What I don't believe is probably 90% of what the church teaches, anything that has to do with condemnation, et cetera, because
it seems like they're really obsessed with hell and gay folks humping.
Boy, they sure are, and they want to throw everybody, they want to judge everybody and throw everybody into hell. And Jesus said, "Let him without sin cast the first stone." So I don't believe in any of that stuff. I believe that ultimately we're all saved because it says that Jesus died for every man's sins, and I believe that. I don't believe that there's going to be anybody in hell. And everybody says, "Well, what about Hitler?" Well, yeah, I think Hitler's going to be there too. Sorry.
Boy, you got to have
offend
hell
all
for
you
Hitler.
people.
Not for the real Hitler, for the imaginary Hitler that we've built after Hitler died. I mean, the one nice thing you can say about Hitler is he killed Hitler.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
So anyway, I don't believe in any
Some people
of that.
think he escaped down to Argentina.
Some people think that we're being visited right now by lizard people who have taken on human form and are running our government. You can't. There's no credence simply because somebody believes something. There are people with tinfoil literally in their hats. No, I don't care.
Well, those Clinton people now, if anybody could be part lizard, I think it could be the Clintons. So.
I just want to know what the lizard people know about Hillary Clinton.
But and as an anarchist, of course, my belief is that nobody has the right to rule over anyone else, and that is the key, I think, to liberty. You can't rule other people. You want to rule somebody, you rule yourself, and that's why people live by rules. You live by your own rules. You write your rules, you live by your rules. My neighbor writes his rules, he lives by his rules. At some point, we're going to clash over our rules. That's just human nature. And then we have to work out those differences in one way or another, hopefully peacefully. I mean, some people are going to work them out violently, and that's not a good way to work things out.
They will be handled.
Yeah, people ultimately find out that the violent method is not the profitable method. So hopefully people learn that peace is the way to get ahead.
I like it.
And so that's what a Christian anarchist is. Like, basically, I believe very little. I believe only the love portion of what's left of the Bible, because I don't believe all of the Bible. I believe it's been mutilated and twisted and spindled and folded, just like everything.
Yeah, there's been a lot of men who
want
to control other men who've been doing those.
Right,
things.
that's the one. That's really the sticker when it comes to Christianity is that because it's got this 2,000-year history, and belief in the Bible and Christianity have become synonymous terms. And one could, there's very few religious scholars out there, and by that I mean people who actually have the degrees in, the study of this stuff, not theologians, that believe that the Bible is, completely unerring and there are no mistakes in it or anything like that. It would be pretty difficult to make that claim, considering that Jesus' name is Yeshua ben Yosef, and they call him Jesus. Like they got a main character name mistranslation, and if you make the argument that, well, it's fine for Jesus' name to be in Greek, then, well, why isn't it in English? I mean, what? I don't understand.
Yeah, and the fact is that if you look at recent history, I mean, I've been alive for 66 years, so I can look at things that happened in my youth, and I know what happened, and I can see what the history books are writing today, and I know it's a bunch of baloney. So I know that history gets changed, even in that short period of time. So what are the chances that what happened 2,000 years ago has survived without being twisted? I don't believe that's even possible. It's not possible.
Chaim Maccabee, and he's written several books. I've read one of them called The Mythmaker, but I know that he has another book that focuses very squarely on Jesus having actually been a Pharisee, and that because the Bible was really sort of the first four Gospels were written in the late 1st century and maybe the early 2nd century, depending on who you believe. That political climate had changed. Remember, the temple had been destroyed post Jesus, but before the books had been written. So there were big tumultuous changes going on in Israel at the time, and Pharisees fell out of favor, at least among the Christians. But Chaim Maccabee makes the argument that in fact Jesus was a Pharisee, that's what his title was, and that he would have never, he may have disagreed with Pharisees, but it wasn't the fact that somebody was a Pharisee that was the problem.
Yeah, well, I haven't read that part, so I can't comment on it. But
he also says that Paul was a hustler, made a big fat liar and a hustler. So there you go.
Well, there's definitely some things Paul wrote that I strongly disagree with, or at least that people say Paul wrote, especially the part about listening to anything the Gouvernement has to say. I don't listen to anything the Gouvernement has to say.
Gene, thanks for the call tonight, man. I definitely appreciate the discussion. Christian Anarchy, and he's in the Discord chat. If you got more questions for him, I'm sure he'd be happy to field them about his beliefs. That's Gene, the Christian Anarchist. You can jump into the Discord over at discord.lrn.fm. It's cross-platform, so there's different apps you can download for whatever you're on, Windows, Mac, Linux. They've got iOS devices, Android, and there's even a web platform, so you can just do it straight through your web browser at discord.lrn.fm. So we've been talking about transhumanism, and it's sort of wafted into religion and the idea of technology overtaking nature. And I don't know if that is really ultimately where a lot of the transhumanists are coming from. It seems like they're focused more on themselves. They want to augment their own bodies. They want to live forever.
Those are the things that they can control more so, if they want to put an RFID chip in their wrist, they can do that.
And according to the story here at theconversation.com, which kind of got us started on this here, the central premise of transhumanism is that biological evolution will eventually be overtaken by advances in genetic, wearable, and implantable technologies that artificially expedite the evolutionary process. This was the kernel of Moore's founding definition in 1990, Moore being the founder of Alcor Technologies.
Max Moore, yeah.
Article 2 of the periodically updated, multi-authored Transhumanist Declaration continues to assert the point. This is from their declaration, quote, "We favor morphological freedom, the right to modify and enhance one's body, cognition, and emotions." And so, who wouldn't be against that freedom? It's your body. You should be able to do what you want with it. But Brian, are you saying you shouldn't do those things? Not that they should be prohibited from doing them, but that you want to persuade them to not do it?
Yeah, Yes, that's an interesting question. I think it's mostly about, it seems like a little bit more of a distraction. Like, I looked really deeply at all the literature on nootropics, these things that are supposed to enhance your brain.
Yeah. You take these, you order this stuff online. It's you take these things, they make you think better or something like that. My experience is I've taken some of them and I've either experienced nothing or what I would call a stimulant.
Like speed.
Well, speed's not speed. I would just call it a mild stimulant. And, a mild stimulant may very well get your brain, cooking a little faster. I've heard theories that coffee, in fact, replaced beer as sort of the daytime drink, and that's how we had the Renaissance.
Let's come back and talk more about your looking into nootropics here in moments. Hour number 3 is on the way. If you want to jump into the conversation, you can. Our toll-free number, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. Free Talk Live.
I tried other brands, but I came back to my Sunshine.
For the best hot or cold pain relief, get the best. Get a Sunny Bay heating pad.
Sometimes life can be a pain in the neck or back or shoulder.
And the best relief for that pain is a Sunny Bay heating pad. Did you know that the American College of Physicians said that one of the best ways to treat muscle pain is heat therapy? Sunny Bay heating pads are handmade with high quality, can be used at home or at work, and have a lifetime 100% positive rating on both Amazon and Etsy.
Why take another pill?
Many people use our Sunny Bay heating pads alone and got rid of the neck pain.
Long distance travel or long hours in front of a computer can take its toll on your body.
See why our homegrown small business at sunny-bay.com has tried to help people just like you. Get your Sunny Bay heating pads at sunny-bay.com. That's sunny-bay.com or call 253-678-1361 for hot and cold therapy. sunny-bay.com.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, April 3rd, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.61 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,341 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $21, and the average price of Bitcoin is $7,361. Antiwar.com reports witnesses are reporting a large number of civilians were killed in the Kunduz province of northern Afghanistan on Monday following an attack by the Afghan military. The attack hit a mosque attached to a religious school and at least 70 people were killed. Reportedly, the attack came during a large ceremony to recognize graduates of the school and to appoint new mullahs for the religious school. Around 1,000 people were in attendance, and there were speculation that some of the Taliban figures were present. The district governor, Nasruddin Sadi, said there were armed militants present at the religious event and that this was the reason security forces decided to attack. This was apparently done irrespective of civilian danger. The Afghan Defense Ministry told a different story. In keeping with their attempts to manage the narrative on big events, the ministry insists the mosque rally wasn't religious in nature and that it was a Taliban forces massing for a sneak attack. Despite a number of small children and other obvious civilians being slain, the Defense Ministry insisted everyone killed was a terrorist. They also insisted that only 21 people were killed, despite everyone else reporting at least 70. Are you an advocate for free market money? Do you promote Bitcoin as an alternative in a fiat-centric world? Then you need Spendabit in your arsenal, the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spendabit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Visit spendabit.co today. Bitcoin merchants, ask about our merchant suite to reach even more customers. Spendabit.co. UPI reports the U.S. Department of Justice sued the state of California on Monday over a law allowing the state to block U.S. government from selling federal land. The lawsuit seeks an injunction against California Senate Bill 50, which requires the federal government to give the state's land commission the option to buy federal land before it can be transferred to another owner because the DOJ claims it is unconstitutional. Attorney General Jeff Sessions said the Constitution empowers the federal government, not the state legislatures, to decide when and how federal lands are sold. California was admitted to the Union upon the express condition that it would never interfere with the disposal of federal land, and yet once again the California legislature has enacted an extreme state law attempting to frustrate federal policy. California State Senator Ben Allen, who authored the legislation, told the Washington Post the law was very carefully crafted and intended to ensure that the state would have the chance to intervene if the federal government sought to sell land worthy of conservation. The DOJ argues SB 50 violates the supremacy clause of the U.S. Constitution, which states federal law shall be the supreme law of the land, and the judges in every state shall be bound thereby. The DOJ's complaint also listed land transfers by the U.S. Army, Navy, and Department of Veterans Affairs affected by the law. California Attorney General Xavier Becerra said he was prepared, as always, to do what it takes to protect our people, our resources, and our values. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports the U.S. Supreme Court on Monday sided with an Arizona police officer in a case testing the constitutional limits for the use of force, throwing out a lawsuit brought against him by a woman he shot 4 times in her driveway while she held a large kitchen knife. Over the dissent of 2 of the liberal justices, the court overturned a 2016 lower court ruling that had allowed the civil rights lawsuit seeking at least $150,000 in damages from University of Arizona Police Department Corporal Andrew Casella to proceed. The wounded woman, Amy Hughes, had accused Casella of using excessive force in the 2010 incident in violation of the U.S. Constitution's 4th Amendment, which protects against unreasonable searches and seizures. In the case decided on Monday, the court ruled in an unsigned opinion that Casella was entitled to qualified immunity, protecting him from litigation because he did not violate any clearly established law. In a dissent, Justice Sonia Sotomayor wrote that Casella's conduct was unreasonable and the court should not shield him from liability. Sotomayor criticized the court's decision as another example of its unflinching willingness to reverse lower courts when they deny officers immunity. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
It's the Onion Radio News. A crazy man announces plans to stand in a doorway and yell at cars. This is Doyle Redland reporting. Dennis Fife, an Alhambra, California crazy man, held a press conference today to announce his intention to stand in the doorway of the office building at 2600 Kenilworth Avenue and yell at cars all day.
At approximately 9:30 a.m. on the day in question, shortly after I finish lunging at dogs, I will proceed to the front steps of the Simmons building and yell loudly for 9 hours. The screaming will be broken by a 15-minute fit of rigid catatonia, most likely in the late afternoon.
Among the topics Fife plans to address during his 9-hour rant, the ace of diamonds, bookshelves, the man trying to kill him, plastic bags in trees, Trapper John M.D., and papers everywhere. Doyle Redland for the Onion Radio News, online at theonion.com.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live. This is Free Talk Live. We're launching into the third hour of the program. As always, you can join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. Skype username is LRN.FM. And joining you in the studio with you tonight, I'm Ian.
Brian.
And Mark.
We're talking about transhumanism. And I think there's a few different opinions here on the air about this so far, but still, kind of defining it. There's a story over at theconversation.com that, actually got our conversation started here about transhumanism and what it is. And they say that the central premise of transhumanism is that biological evolution will eventually be overtaken by advances in genetic, wearable, and implantable technologies that artificially expedite the evolutionary process. Basically, upgrading your body with technology to where the technology can continue to upgrade your body, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the sort of rudimentary aspects of this, wearing lenses on in front of your eyes is to some extent transhumanism. You're hacking your biology by putting these lenses in front of your face.
How about a pacemaker?
Pacemaker would be even better example. You're making a muscle that's not working quite right work right.
Before we went away to the news there, Brian, you had brought up nootropics, this series of stimulant-like drugs that some people swear by, believe that they...
There's some anti-narcolepsy drugs in there, too, that aren't exactly pharmacologically stimulants.
So you were getting into that, and I forget exactly where you were going with the discussion, sort of right at the end of the segment.
Yeah,
you did some studying. You did studying, I think you were saying.
Yeah, and it's like, I think I was just saying you asked what I thought about people doing these things, and I was like, you can basically, I don't have any problem with people doing with their bodies whatever they want, but I think if you take a step way back, the nootropics are not that impressive. They're basically just caffeine and a stay-awake drug, right? And so the excitement that I see about we've got these new designer brains, is like, whatever, it's just green tea or coffee or whatever. This is not that impressive at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And so, if you're going to do this at the individual level, it's like, well, what does the longevity research say? And they're like, Western healthcare has some improvements in longevity, but the people around the world who live the longest are people like the Okinawans and the Seventh-day Adventists and stuff. They're not people who are trying to turn themselves into Spider-Man.
People that eat a large amount of non-starch-oriented vegetation.
Yeah, that's the Blue Zones research that guy Dan Buettner at National Geographic did, and he found these longevity hotspots around the world. And so I think it's like, oh, well, if we just find these cultures that are doing that, and I think there's a lot of wisdom there, and basically I just think there's more juice there than there is in the kind of Spider-Man or Borg or whatever scene.
But the idea of eating more salads is not very sexy. I mean, that's rough. I'll just give up this hamburger for lunch and have a salad. It's hard to sell that.
Yeah, I mean, I think those cultures do the best job, so it's not like a punitive kind of raw foods, hellscape. It's like, it's not that bad to be in Sardinia or some of the, Caria, Greece, or some of the other places where these things are.
So do you want to persuade people to not do that? Because as you were saying, you believe that people should be free to make these decisions for their own bodies. But do you want to persuade them to not? What's the benefit to them to not try these things? I mean, if they're into it.
You know, I knew a psychology researcher named Seth Roberts who was really big in the self-experimentation circle, and he, you know, along with kind of Tim Ferriss and that crowd, was really into that, and he was pushing it, and he started eating it like an entire stick of butter a day.
Whoa.
Well, this is what's that coffee they call?
The bulletproof Dave Asprey guy.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And so he was like pushing that really. He was like, oh, this is, you know, he set up a timing program, and he's like, oh, this is making me milliseconds better at, you know, multiplication problems, and he published a lot about that on his blog.
Or he's just gotten better at doing multiplication.
Correlation is not causation. Right?
Well, no, he was a sophisticated experimental design, and so he was going on and off butter and seeing if that affected it. And I trusted his experimental design that it was making it go a little faster. But then, even though he wasn't that old, he had this like sudden cardiac arrest.
Oh, wow.
Or I don't know exactly what it was. You could find out on his blog, but it might have been an embolism or something. But
the Atkins diet guy died of a heart attack too.
Well, didn't he crack his head open after a heart attack?
Well,
but yeah.
He had a heart attack. Yeah. He fell down and cracked his head open.
Right.
But if he hadn't had the heart attack, he wouldn't be dead.
Correct.
Yeah, and so if somebody was like, I would like to live a long time, what do you think I should do? I wouldn't be like, I don't know, drink lots of butter and put microchips in your brain. I would be like, do what the Okinawans do. Maybe science will figure something out. Maybe it won't. But the ecosystem one is a special case because people could do whatever they want with their bodies and they can kill themselves. But it's not just your liberty if you mess up the ecosystem. And so with that bees thing, you were like, well, what's the problem if we have bees doing the pollinating?
The idea was, for listeners just tuning in, Walmart filed a patent on some kind of a drone bee. And I suggested that, well, you know, this may just be, hey, we need these things to replace the bees that are becoming extinct, ostensibly.
Yeah, and so I think this is a really good example because there's a mycologist, a guy who studies the fungal kingdom and mushrooms named Paul Stamets, who did a bunch of research saying if we just get kind of healthy mushroom decaying matter, mycelia it's called, around the bees, that really serves to stimulate their immune systems and can bring the bees back. And so we have these two options, these kind of what I would take to be competing worldviews. They're like, oh, we can kind of restore the natural ecosystem so that it returns to a state of harmony or replace it. And the reason why I was talking to Mark about this is like, to me, this ties very much to things that somebody like Hayek or somebody would talk to. And so it's like, should we have human beings as this one species, this one point in a node of many species, defining this command system that controls everything? Or should we have this kind of distributed system in balance where the different agents are acting freely? And it's like if you talk to most libertarians, that question between different people is settled. That's what it kind of means to be a libertarian.
Yep.
But then why you wouldn't extend that to other species is a different question. I'm not saying you can't have a pig and kill it. I don't really care. One of them's
decentralized, meaning that the different species are acting on their own volition. The other one is where the humans are centralizing control over the rest of the
We're that kind of species, though, right? Like we tend to get, find an ecosystem and dominate it. Like I bought a piece of property out here in a town adjacent to Keene, New Hampshire, and I wiped out some trees, and I put in a basement, I put in a house, and now any critter that comes in there inside that house that I have claimed as my property, my domain, any critter that comes in there is subject to my arbitrary death penalty. Sure. If it's a ladybug or a spider, I'm going to do my best to get him out. If it's a housefly, you're dead, right? And mice, sorry, that's what I got a cat for.
And I'm not making some type of like aggressive anarcho-primitivist argument. I'm just saying, given what we know about ecology...
Those people don't use telephones to call in, sadly.
I read an article one time about John Zerzan, one of the main anarcho-primitivists, and he was just kind of hanging out at his mom's house watching The Simpsons. That was my memory of what he was up to.
Well, it's a good show.
But yeah, so it's basically the same ideas you would say to have some type of free economy versus a command economy.
Sure.
I would like to have a free ecosystem rather than a command ecosystem. And that means that there's some scale that human beings can reach and past which we need to be good partners in some good measure of integration with the broader community.
So my wife and I kind of disagree on organics, organic foods and that sort of thing. She buys into a lot of this voodoo that surrounds it. I'm just of the opinion that Look, I understand that the mass market food production system, specifically the one that produces starches, corn, soybean, these sorts of things, they just spray fertilizers and herbicides on the crops, and then the rain comes. Eventually, it washes into lakes and rivers and streams, which empty into mainly the Mississippi here in the United States, and then it heads on down the Mississippi, and then there's this dead zone somewhere around the Delta there, the Mississippi Delta in New Orleans, that basically no life lives there because the fertilizers have sucked all the oxygen out of the air, and then the pesticides, the herbicides, go to work and kill stuff too, and it's just a mess. And that's a responsibility that one takes when one buys a Twinkie or something like that. It's aggression on the environment. That's why I like organics, but they're not a perfect solution either.
We got more coming up here. You can join the discussion if you want. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Skype in at Skype username LRN.FM. And you can join us on the radio. This is Free Talk Live.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core wallet that allows you to send and receive either currency with anyone, anywhere in the world. The Bitcoin.com wallet supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. Download the Bitcoin.com wallet for easy and secure access to your Bitcoin Core and your Bitcoin Cash. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available for Android, iOS, Windows, Mac, and even Linux. Learn more at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
From the third letter of Captain Mark. The Crown's observation conditions us to be dishonest with ourselves. Therefore, constant surveillance produces a society of constant deception. Honest communication is the seed of civilized conduct. To deny us this seed is to deny us its fruits. But the Crown's primary objective is to stifle free thought itself, to make its subjects incapable of dissent. Seasoned pirates have always encrypted messages and codes and ciphers, so intercepted transmissions were incomprehensible. But today, the Crown possesses advanced tools of pattern recognition that document, profile, and predict our every move. Today, piracy requires hailing frequencies completely invisible to the Crown. We are tired of poltergeists in the static. Looking for a community of like-minded scoundrels, or just want some swag to let the Crown know what you think of it? Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com.
If you're looking for work, you know what I mean by elevator speech. It's the short version, saying just enough to make the listener want to listen more. Even if you're not a job seeker, effective communication skills have never been more important, with money and attention so scarce now. So to cut through the clutter, choose every single word as though it was the last word the person you're speaking to will hear. Otherwise, it might be. Instead of saying, due to the fact that, say, because. And avoid mispronunciations. Say jewelry, not jewelry, which could offend. Undoubtedly, you don't want to say undoubtedly. And whatever you do, never use a preposition to end a sentence with. Just kidding. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that tenth of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live, dial toll free. Join us right here on number 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. You can join us online. Head over to freetalklive.com and enjoy the features that we have there on the site. You can also enjoy Freedom's Phoenix over at freedomsphoenix.com. It's a liberty-oriented news aggregation site. If you want the newest and freshest stories and perspectives on current events from those who value liberty, then freedomsphoenix.com has that. And they've also got their Daily Dispatch, which is the best way to stay up to date on science, technology, historical findings, liberty news, government overspending, and the rise of the police state. It's Freedoms with an S, phoenix.com. That's freedomsphoenix.com. As we continue here, we've been talking about transhumanism, and there's a piece over at theconversation.com. It's Ian, Brian, and Mark in the studio here tonight talking about transhumanism. The actual title of the story is Transhumanism, Advances in Technology Could Already Put Evolution into Hyperdrive, but Should They? And let me go on here with a little bit more from the piece. They say here, to date, areas to improve on include natural aging, including for diehards, the cessation of involuntary death, as well as...
So notice they don't say immortality. They say the cessation of involuntary death.
That's the terms you were looking for earlier?
Not really, but no? They're working their way around it. So this doesn't mean that if you drop a piano on somebody's head, they die. Because think about a lobster. My understanding of lobsters as they exist today, look, I could be completely wrong. This is my understanding. But let's take this imaginary beast, this lobster, that doesn't actually die from old age.
Really?
That's what my understanding is, yes.
What does that mean?
It doesn't die of old age. What could that mean?
It's dying because of natural predators?
Yeah, they don't have the same kind of cells break down and telomeres break down and stuff like that.
It's always the telomeres. And well, I don't know. I mean, a lobster just grows bigger and bigger until something decides that it wants to eat it, or it falls in a crack and gets stuck and starves to death, or whatever happens to it. It happens. Now humans are eating them, so they don't get that big. But every once in a while, you'll find a really big lobster for sale, and as I understand, they're kind of tough, and the best thing to do is get them at about 2 inches or 2 pounds, something like that. I don't know. I'm not a lobster specialist. Anyway, they don't die of old age, but they do die of other things. So death wouldn't be eliminated. It would just not be old age, which in the United States is the vast majority of people die of. Natural causes, old age, these kind of things. Cancer, heart disease, those are old age.
I see. So they can improve on natural aging as well as physical, intellectual, and psychological capacities. Some distinguished scientists, such as Hans Moravec and Raymond Kurzweil, even advocate for a post-human condition, the end of humanity's reliance on our congenital bodies by transforming, quote, our frail version 1.0 human bodies into their far more durable and capable version 2.0 counterparts.
And I think that Brian's rebuttal to this is let me know when they can predict the folding of a protein was pretty adroit.
Is that
can you
DNA
describe?
reference?
Yeah, can you describe what the folding of a protein might be like?
Yeah, so if you have a sequence of amino acids, it's going to fold up into a certain shape. And it's not something they can compute. It would take like all the computing power in the universe, tens of thousands of years to do it. And so this idea that everything is going to be predictable and central and commandable. I mean, again, it always strikes me almost as odd that a libertarian would read a sentence like that last one and not immediately be like reminded of Mao's Great Leap Forward. It's like, the flesh is over. Just like, culture's over. It's just like, to me, it just has so much.
Has read the Little Red Book. I haven't.
Yeah, but to me it just has so much the same flavor of that. Like, we're going to take control of everything, and once we take control of everything,
it'll be great. We're going to kill off the intellectuals, and it'll be awesome.
Yeah, and it's again, I'm not saying people can't pierce their ears or get tattoos or whatever. Yeah. Like, I'm not a lunatic, but I'm just saying that general...
You are on the wrong show then.
Yeah, that general tenor of we're going to take over and then everything's going to be great. I'm like, where have I seen that before in history, and how did it go?
Yeah, I mean, certainly humans make mistakes, and when it comes to your life, then that could be
people can make mistakes in their own life, but that's why we want it to be decentralized. That's why it's surprising to me, too, like if a libertarian sees something like, oh, we're going to have Walmart's going to run robot bees, as opposed to we could just be non-aggressive, denizens of an ecosystem that for some reason had pollinators for over 1 billion years. So why can't we just be non-aggressive members of that rather than having this kind of centralized command and control response to the question? It's an odd thing to me. And again, I'm happy that there's agriculture and things. I don't want to be an absolutist about this.
You're not a Luddite. You do technology for a living.
Yeah, I work in tech.
Yeah, I don't want to. I guess I try to think of big corporations. I just try to insert the term government every time I think of like large corporations. But I must say, I allow organizations like Google and Facebook access to far too much of my life. I would if like for instance, if the headline was the government is going to build robot bees to do pollination instead of Walmart. You better believe I'd be all over it, right? Mm-hmm. The government is going to run a social media platform to which you give basically all of the information about your life in little tiny tidbits so that they can collect it.
Like those civic scores in China they're talking about.
With Bitcoin. The government is going to run a platform that tracks all of your transactions. Or Google. The government is going to run your email box and all your private communications and public communications and all this stuff. I would never, go for that, but for some reason I do go for it when you're talking about these big companies. I think of Google as, well, not as evil as the government.
Yeah, for me, there's this, there's this one step up from either government or corporations is just humans.
Yeah.
So when I hear humans are going to run pollination, I'm like, why? We're not pollinators. That's insane. We would just live and let live.
The pushback against unchecked optimism like this is emphatic, says the author here at theconversation.com. Some find the rhetoric distasteful and its assumptions about the desire for a prosthetic future, and potential ethical problems in particular are raised. Tattoos, piercings, and cosmetic surgery remain a matter of individual choice, and amputations are a matter of medical necessity. But if augmented sensory capacity, for instance, were to become normative in a particular field, so like you can hear better or see better because of these changes, these technological modifications.
I hear you can take a pill and get a bigger one on some websites.
If they were to become normative in a particular field, it might, they use the term coerce others to make similar changes in their bodies in order to compete. So somebody who perhaps might have been against the idea of augmenting themselves may feel pushed to do it because, well, other people in competition with them are doing it.
There's the International Bodybuilding Federation, and then there's the Natural Bodybuilding League or something like that. Mm-hmm. And that says to me that the International Bodybuilding Federation is not the natural bodybuilding organization, and that somehow those people are doing something. Maybe they're going to Mexico and getting steroids. Maybe I have no idea what they're doing.
I guess
But is it natural by the natural bodybuilders?
This guy that wrote the article expects through a series of imperceptible small steps, the NFL is going to turn into a monster truck rally.
The toll-free number, if you want to join us here, 855-450-FREE. He says, as Isaiah Berlin once put it, quote, freedom for the wolves has often meant death to the sheep.
Oh, I love that.
We'll share more with you here. You can share your thoughts on transhumanism and augmenting your body with technology, and where does it go from there? This is Free Talk Live.
Water is the single most important thing your body needs, so you want to be sure it's the best for you and your family. Since 2005, thousands have depended on Berkey purified water. The Berkey Guy provides the lowest priced filtration systems in every size. For incredibly delicious water now and in an emergency, get to goberkey.com or call 877-886-3653. 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com.
Anytime, any place, anywhere, radio remains the most intimate of all forms of media. At home, at work, in the car, on smartphones. Over 90% of consumers still listen to radio every week. That makes choosing radio as a place to advertise your business one of the best decisions you can make. Email advertise@gcnlive.com and partner up with an experienced GCN representative. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
Free Talk Live.
We've had people call this show in the past and posit that the declaration of a national emergency essentially opens up all of the loopholes that they can utilize that have been built into the Constitution. Because as Lysander Spooner would put it, the Constitution has either been powerless to prevent this big tyrannical government that we have today.
Sure, a government far beyond the scope that our founders ever, even in the wildest dreams imagined.
Or it has authorized the government that we have today.
I can only assume that that's true. I mean, I used
the
to
latter?
be this. I can only assume that it's the Constitution that in fact authorizes all of this crap that I thought at one point was unconstitutional. And we are, as I stated, still under a level of martial law that was declared for the Civil War. Everything they're doing is legal, as far as I can tell.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. You can bring up what you want right here. Toll-free number 855-450-FREE. We're talking about transhumanism. And if you're new to the topic, well, I don't know if you've got a lot to say, but you can always bring up anything that you want here on Free Talk Live. Toll-free number 855-450-FREE, like freedom. With you in the studio here tonight, I'm Ian.
Brian.
And Mark.
Brian's new to the show. And he's doing great so far. He's anti-transhumanism. And Mark, you seem to be pro-transhumanism, given that you're cutting your head off and freezing it
Not at
when
the
you
moment.
die. Right, you're not doing. You're not
sawing
doing it.
away at it.
You're hiring someone to do it after you've passed away.
After my death, my head will be lopped off and put in a stock pot with alcor.org.
And I'm kind of just interested in watching this develop. I mean, I'm not against it necessarily, but I can definitely understand where Brian's coming from with serious skepticism about.
When I come back, I'll light a candle for you, Ian.
Humans' ability to do all of this stuff that they're trying to do. Forkfest.party is where you can go to check out Forkfest. It is just a website. Nobody's in charge of this libertarian camping festival, where you can join liberty-minded voluntarists, anarchists, and libertarians this summer from June 14th through the 18th at Rogers Campground in the beautiful White Mountains of New Hampshire. And you can have conversations like this with a lot of those people. A lot of them are interested in transhumanism. Forkfest is a decentralized festival, meaning there's nobody in charge. There's no fee to buy a ticket. There are no tickets. There's just the dates and the location. And then whatever you want to create there for other people to experience, that is completely up to you. Or maybe you just want to kick back and enjoy a few days on a campground with other libertarians. It is completely up to you what happens at Forkfest, because nobody's in charge, which means, well, everybody's in charge of themselves. Forkfest.party. The only thing you do have to, organize or whatever is to get your campsite from Rogers Campground. And yes, the campground does have some rules, but beyond that, it is up to you what experience is created during Forkfest. Again, it's June 14th through the 18th. The website will link you over to a forum where you can discuss some of the things that other people have planned, or if you're planning something, you can announce it. There's also some chat rooms like on Telegram and Discord that you can link to over from Forkfest.party. As we continue here, there's a piece in theconversation.com about transhumanism questioning whether or not people should move forward with this idea. Say, in order to really get to grips with the meaning of all this, the author writes, though, an example is needed, he says. Take the hypothetical argumentation of human hearing, something I'm researching within a broader project on sound and materialism. Within discussions of transhumanism, ears are not typically among the sense organs that are figured for enhancement. But human hearing is already being augmented. Algorithms for transposing auditory frequencies already exist, common to most speech processors and cochlear implants and hearing aids, for instance. Research.
Yeah, many of those, some of these hearing aids, they're wired into your brain. They got a little thing that attaches to your head. If you've seen Rush Limbaugh's cochlear implants.
He's got one of the expensive ones. Huh?
Yeah. You can believe they're the best.
Research into the regeneration of cilia hairs in the cochlear duct is also ongoing. Following this logic, augmented unimpaired hearing need be no different, in principle, to correcting impaired hearing. What next? Acoustic sound vibrations sit alongside the vast inaudible electromagnetic spectrum, and various animals access different portions of this acoustic space, portions to which we as humans have no access, meaning that you can't hear past a certain frequency range.
You may not want to.
Indeed.
What kind of information am I really going to receive by being able to figure out, the bats are screeching again?
Right. Well,
I don't need that information.
Well, who knows? But ultimately,
not today. I don't want it.
There's the stories about the teenagers who can hear a certain range, but the adults can't, and so they've come up with teenager repellent, where they put a sound generating device that creates a sound that only young people can hear, but older people can't hear it, just to bug the young people, to keep them out of the mall or something like that. Whatever it is, you don't want teenagers.
I have never heard this.
You've never heard about that?
No.
Yeah, because your hearing range rolls off down over time.
I can assure you that is the case.
So it might go from 20,000 hertz on the high end down to 18,000 or something like that. So you'd be missing out on the very high-pitched frequency stuff. So, which is why, Jazzy the Studio Beast probably doesn't like the vacuum cleaner, because it makes a high-end whining noise that we can begin to hear, but I suspect exists much higher up than we can hear.
Yeah, she's not scared of it. She just doesn't like it.
She just doesn't want to be around it.
Yeah.
It's just not pleasant. But going on here, author says, can this change? If it does, this may well alter the identity of sound itself. Speculations as to whether what is visible as light might under other circumstances be perceivable as sound have arisen in various points over the past 2 centuries. This raises heady questions about the very definition of sound. Must it be perceived by a human ear to constitute sound? By a sentient animal? Can a machine hear sufficiently to define sound beyond the human auditory range? And what about aesthetics? Aesthetics itself, as the human study of the beautiful, may no longer even be applicable. The technologies for broaching such questions are arguably already at hand. Examples of auditory sense augmentation, broadly conceived, include Norbert Wiener's so-called hearing glove, which stimulated the finger of a deaf person with electromagnetic vibrations. An implanted color sensor that, for its colorblind recipient, Neil Harbison, converts the color spectrum into sounds, including ultraviolet and infrared signals, and a cochlear implant that streams sounds wirelessly from Apple's mass-market devices directly into the auditory nerve of its recipients.
Yeah, I've heard of this. I mean, that's basically what they have to do. Is if the cilia isn't in your ear anymore, you can't hear.
The discussion is not entirely hypothetical, in other words. So what does all this mean? There's the famous scene in the film The Matrix in which Morpheus asks Neo whether he wants to take the blue pill or the red pill. One returns him unawares to his life of total physical and mental enslavement within the simulation program of The Matrix. The other gives him access to the real world with all its brutal challenges. But after experiencing this, he can never go back to life within The Matrix and must survive outside of it. Advocates of transhumanism face a similar choice today. One option is to take advantage of the advances in nanotechnologies, genetic engineering, and other medical sciences to enhance the biological and mental functioning of human beings and never to go back. The other is to legislate to prevent these artificial changes from becoming an entrenched part of humanity, with all the implied coercive biomedicine that would entail for the species. Of course, the reality of the debate is more complex. Holding our skepticism in abeyance, it still supersedes individual choice. Hence, the question of agency remains. Who should have the right to decide? And so from what I understand so far, Brian, you're pretty libertarian on this issue. I mean, I don't know you. This is the first night we've met.
Sure.
That you would not oppose an individual's ability to augment themselves, but you would argue firmly against it.
Well, no, I think it'd be a case-by-case basis. I know people with hearing aids, and those are fine, but it seems like there's going to be...
Where do you draw the line, then? I mean, if hearing aids are fine, pacemakers are fine, what about fixing somebody's vision with LASIK eye surgery or, whatever other things?
Yeah, I mean, I think you would have to take them on a case-by-case basis and think about the risks. I don't think you're going to be able to have an answer to that kind of that's fixed, that's true for the next 100 or 200 years.
So you're flexible on the topic.
I am flexible. I just know, stepping way back when I think about, there's this optimism from centrally that has led to a mythology that centrally controlled healthcare is the way that I'm going to be healthy. I see that really strongly in my parents, rather than things I can do that have been around for thousands of years are going to make me healthy. And I think it's about what your core story is about what's going to promote health and well-being. And then is your core story, I need to eat, healthy foods grown as part of healthy, intact ecosystems, be around other caring people, and get good sleep? Or is your core story, I need a series of pills and cochlear implants and things like that? And I think it's actually been pretty damaging to how we construe health as a culture, that our core story is that. It's what's the basis and what's the icing? And so it's glasses and pacemakers and things are the icing, and the basis of it is these ecologically grounded things that are what make mammals and humans and primates healthy. I think that's what I would say.
One thing I've also sort of gotten from conversations with you is that you find these people, these transhumanists, to be rather optimistic. So, I mean, there's some really great evidence of artists trying to depict what life would be at the turn of the century, the next century, back in, the 1900, trying to predict what the year 2000 was going to be like. And, they got some things right and they got some things laughably wrong.
For sure.
The outfits were pretty, I mean, you can just watch movies and shows, and what they expected us to be wearing. And we're not wearing that stuff.
The toll-free number tonight, you can join us, 855-450, free.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core wallet that allows you to send and receive either currency with anyone, anywhere in the world. Download the Bitcoin.com wallet for easy and secure access to your Bitcoin Cash. It's perfect for beginners, and the Bitcoin.com wallet makes using and holding Bitcoins easy. No logins are required. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available for Android, iOS, Windows, Mac, and even Linux. Learn more at Bitcoin.com.
I tried other brands, but I came back to my Sunshine.
For the best hot or cold pain relief, get the best. Get a Sunny Bay heating pad.
Sometimes life can be a pain in the neck or back or shoulder.
And the best relief for that pain is a Sunny Bay heating pad. Did you know that the American College of Physicians said that one of the best ways to treat muscle pain is heat therapy? Sunny Bay heating pads are handmade with high quality, can be used at home or at work, and have a lifetime 100% positive rating on both Amazon and Etsy.
Why take another pill?
Many people use our Sunny Bay heating pads alone and got rid of the neck pain.
Long distance travel or long hours in front of a computer can take its toll on your body.
See why our homegrown small business at sunny-bay.com has tried to help people just like you. Get your Sunny Bay heating pads at sunny-bay.com. That's sunny-bay.com or call 253-678-1361 for hot and cold therapy. sunny-bay.com.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way. You can't do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me.
Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa, hey, who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today. You ain't going to make it. Wait a minute.
Holy creator. Whoa. Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable! Why are you running from me?
Because you scared me.
What am I being detained for? You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media, and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. You can bring up anything that you want. Just dial toll-free here. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype at Skype username LRN.FM, and you can also get interactive online in a variety of different ways. We've already mentioned our Discord chat room, discord.lrn.fm. There's also another chat, not as busy, but there are some people in there from time to time. That's the Twitch chat room over at twitch.lrn.fm, which is where you can actually watch the show in HD quality, streamed live when we're live, which is 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 at night Eastern Time. If you are a follower on Twitch and you've got notifications turned on, which you can set for either email or if you've got the app on your phone, it'll just pop one up in your notification bar to let you know when Free Talk Live is live, which is a handy little thing to have. And again, you can watch it there for free and chat in the Twitch chat room at twitch.lrn.fm. Let's go to your calls and thoughts here. We can comment a little further on transhumanism and how it might relate to virtual reality. I know Brian has a few more thoughts he wanted to get out there. But first, let's talk to Sarah. She's on the line in New Mexico. Hello, Sarah.
Yes, I just want to mention that we had a survey, and 65% of the surveyed wanted our legislative sessions to
Who's
be
we
longer.
and who's our?
The surveyed people.
Well, New Mexico, we only have like 1 month, 1 year, 2 months the next year.
Your years
And
only
we're the
contain 1 and 2
very
months?
I think she didn't put all the information out there. She's talking about legislators. So you're
Okay.
talking about how often they meet, right?
Right, but they're in session.
Right.
So I hear that we have like the shortest session in our state.
Okay.
And we're the very last state with all free. We work them like a slave and don't pay them anything. All volunteer legislature. So 45% of, like 54, wanted them to have a full-time salary, like around like $45,000, so that you could make a mortgage payment and raise a family. That's a medium salary.
Okay.
So these were the people that were surveyed. It was done by Common Cause. And I think it's time that I am in support of lengthening our sessions and paying them a full-time salary. So
now, as I understand it, they do get paid some sort of a stipend, don't they? Don't they get like a gas stipend or something like that?
Yeah, per diem, whatever
per
that
diem.
means.
Okay,
per diem,
so
like,
they're getting a certain daily
something.
amount simply for showing up and being there, being present. They get paid and a flat per diem rate, or maybe it's based on distance that they have to drive. I'm not sure. But
what's going to happen, Sarah, is if you pay them enough, then the lawyers who are very bad at chasing ambulances will then decide that this is the best job for them, and they'll go into the business of not arguing for and against laws. They'll go into the business of creating them, and this is the which
helps lawyers.
Yeah, this is the lawyer industrial complex that exists in Washington D.C. and in state capitals around America, and certainly around the world too.
Are you a big fan of lawyers, Sarah?
Well, you know what? That's the way that it is now. The only people that could hold this free job, volunteer work, are lawyers, because they make enough money where they make so much money where they don't have to work for 2 months. So only
you make an argument there, although also lawyers that are worth it tend to be busy, right? Like the good attorneys tend to be loaded up with cases. So the last thing that they'll probably want to be doing is spending time in a state house if they're actually making money hand over fist. Charging $300, $400 an hour.
If this is the case, then why doesn't that happen in New Hampshire? Here in New Hampshire, they get paid basically $100 a year, and they get a gas stipend. And other than that, they don't get anything. And it's not a bunch of lawyers; it's a bunch of old people who are retired.
There are some attorneys.
I'm sure there are, but it's
not the majority.
It's not even close to. It's probably not 10%.
I don't know.
Okay, practicing attorneys that are working for a living.
Retired people. You don't really reflect like the people that want to give a full-time dedication, like people like you and Ian, for example, very talented. You don't want to do it. You don't want to go into be a legislature to represent real law. I mean, to represent the people, because you can't even pay mortgage payment or pay property tax. The only people that could do it is you're extremely wealthy, or you're retired. And
that much is true, and that is definitely an issue where you do see some older people that tend to be the majority of the state.
If I had enough money that I didn't have to work again, I don't think you'd find me in the state house. Probably, you wouldn't probably find me running for the state house. You might find me in it if somebody just handed it to me. Mark, we've decided you need to be a legislator. But like running for it, I have to ask myself, why in the world would I go through all this crap? Mm-hmm. For what? To be one vote out of 400 in the New Hampshire State House? I mean, essentially, I've gone from a situation where my vote is basically meaningless to a situation where my vote is basically meaningless. And that's not a change in lifestyle for me. Why would I go and sacrifice
you do a lot more voting and a lot more traveling.
Between 10 and 60 hours a week, depending on how much I wanted to dedicate, however many weeks that they're in session every year. For what? People to be angry and send me emails and all these other things. The high level of upset that surrounds these sorts of situations.
We'd be better off just abolishing the state, and then nobody has to worry about this crap anymore. Thanks for the call tonight, Sarah. I appreciate it.
Ian's solution.
Before we know it, we'd have government salaries for the robot bees to pollinate.
There you go.
Microtransactions, the IoT devices.
Politicians are already looking at how to tax your manufacturing robots. I mean, they can't tax the salaries of the manufacturing employees anymore because there are fewer and fewer of them as time goes by. Now we have to tax, capital goods tax on the robots.
All right. So, Brian, during the break, you had brought up one additional point about transhumanism that you wanted to discuss, and that was in relation to virtual reality or gaming. I mean, how does that tie in?
Yeah. So you see people like Elon Musk making these arguments that they think there's only a 1 in a billion chance than the world that we live in, this reality, isn't just a simulation.
We've talked about about these stories on the air before.
Yeah, I find it very frustrating and unlikely, but that this is in fact a simulation. But it's impossible to argue against this being a simulation.
Yeah, it's just a weird form of techno-Gnosticism where people are trying to place themselves at the center of the universe. And I always have this image of like, well, what's the closest example that people have in the day-to-day life? And I have this image of people playing Grand Theft Auto and just running around blowing buildings up and killing people and
shooting hookers
because
stealing cars.
Yeah, and I'm like,
none of this is real.
They're like, this isn't real. Let's go get them.
Every time you see a cop, you cap them, jump in a car and haul ass.
Yeah, and I saw Elon Musk was on the Tonight Show one time. And he was just like, well, I just want to just start setting off nuclear bombs on Mars because I think I can terraform it. And it was like, what are you talking about? Like, this guy is the bad guy from a Superman movie. Wow. Like, we got to rein it in.
All I need to raise is $1 trillion.
Yeah, exactly. But you live in a shared world with the rest of us. No nuclear weapons in outer space, okay, tough guy?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely no doubt that whether or not it's a simulation, it's a very persistent
I think we could make an argument that Mars now belongs to Elon Musk. I mean, basically, he's already putting it all together. I mean, you're going to see a flag there, and if Tesla doesn't go bankrupt in the next couple of months, all of Mars is going to belong to Elon Musk.
So I mean, obviously there's no way to prove either way of whether or not it's a simulation, at least at this point. But even if it is or isn't, it's still important to behave in a humane way towards other people.
Sure.
Are you suggesting that the people believing that it is a simulation could lead towards more psychopathic sort of behavior or justification for it?
Psychopathic is a strong word. I think it would certainly lead to devaluing things.
Mm-hmm. Devaluing life and the environment.
Yeah, everything's just kind of dreamlike and ephemeral. It's just a form of like techno-Gnosticism.
It seems like when people get wealthy that they tend to devalue life anyway. They have less and less value for the little people, as it were. They're here to serve me. And if you got wealthy in this is just me speculating. I wouldn't know what it's like to get wealthy in your early 20s, like some of these guys that you find out about in Silicon Valley. I don't know that much about it all, but if you had, then you probably, not have enough life experience to actually be a good person if you have with a lot of money. It's hard to be a good person and have a lot of money.
It's a good point because a lot of young people especially males, are little S's.
I wouldn't. As far as gender goes, it's difficult to pick which one's worse. But I mean, the Bible is pretty clear that it's more difficult for a camel to fit through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to get into heaven. And I suspect that statement, I don't think if there's a heaven, everybody's going, in my opinion. But nonetheless, I think what it's trying to say is that it's difficult to conduct yourself in a moral fashion as a person who has a lot of money, and that you'd have to be, on watch all the time. The stories of prima donnas and singers and actresses and these sorts of things, and I'm not trying to bring that just down to women. I think that anybody can act like a spoiled brat, but the stories of these people are, they're rife.
And we are out of time for tonight. Brian, thanks for joining us here tonight. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
It's been Ian and Mark as well. Back tomorrow for more Free Talk Live. You can join us online. In the meantime, just head on over to freetalklive.com. Don't forget to jump into the Discord chat at discord.lrn.fm. We got over 500 or so registered members there. We're coming up tomorrow. See you then.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment, walking down the street, to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of A User's Manual for the Human Experience.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
The latest episode of Declare Your Independence is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darrell W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, April 3rd, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.61 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,341 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $21, and the average price of Bitcoin is $7,361. Antiwar.com reports witnesses are reporting a large number of civilians were killed in the Kunduz province of northern Afghanistan on Monday following an attack by the Afghan military. The attack hit a mosque attached to a religious school, and at least 70 people were killed. Reportedly, the attack came during a large ceremony to recognize graduates of the school and to appoint new mullahs for the religious school. Around 1,000 people were in attendance, and there were speculation that some of the Taliban figures were present. The district governor, Nasruddin Sadi, said there were armed militants present at the religious event and that this was the reason security forces decided to attack. This was apparently done irrespective of civilian danger. The Afghan Defense Ministry told a different story. In keeping with their attempts to manage the narrative on big events, the ministry insists the mosque rally wasn't religious in nature and that it was a Taliban forces massing for a sneak attack. Despite a number of small children and other obvious civilians being slain, the Defense Ministry insisted everyone killed was a terrorist. They also insisted that only 21 people were killed, despite everyone else reporting at least 70. Are you an advocate for free market money? Do you promote Bitcoin as an alternative in a fiat-centric world? Then you need Spendabit in your arsenal, the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spendabit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Visit spendabit.co today. Bitcoin merchants, ask about our merchant suite to reach even more customers. Spendabit.co. UPI reports the U.S. Department of Justice sued the state of California on Monday over a law allowing the state to block U.S. government from selling federal land. The lawsuit seeks an injunction against California Senate Bill 50, which requires the federal government to give the state's land commission the option to buy federal land before it can be transferred to another owner because the DOJ claims it is unconstitutional. Attorney General Jeff Sessions said the Constitution empowers the federal government, not the state legislatures, to decide when and how federal lands are sold. California was admitted to the Union upon the express condition that it would never interfere with the disposal of federal land, and yet once again the California legislature has enacted an extreme state law attempting to frustrate federal policy. California State Senator Ben Allen, who authored the legislation, told the Washington Post the law was very carefully crafted and intended to ensure that the state would have the chance to intervene if the federal government sought to sell land worthy of conservation. The DOJ argues SB 50 violates the supremacy clause of the U.S. Constitution, which states federal law shall be the supreme law of the land, and the judges in every state shall be bound thereby. The DOJ's complaint also listed land transfers by the U.S. Army, Navy, and Department of Veterans Affairs affected by the law. California Attorney General Xavier Becerra said he was prepared, as always, to do what it takes to protect our people, our resources, and our values. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports the U.S. Supreme Court on Monday sided with an Arizona police officer in a case testing the constitutional limits for the use of force, throwing out a lawsuit brought against him by a woman he shot 4 times in her driveway while she held a large kitchen knife. Over the dissent of 2 of the liberal justices, the court overturned a 2016 lower court ruling that had allowed the civil rights lawsuit seeking at least $150,000 in damages from University of Arizona Police Department Corporal Andrew Casella to proceed. The wounded woman, Amy Hughes, had accused Casella of using excessive force in the 2010 incident in violation of the U.S. Constitution's Fourth Amendment, which protects against unreasonable searches and seizures. In the case decided on Monday, the court ruled in an unsigned opinion that Casella was entitled to qualified immunity, protecting him from litigation because he did not violate any clearly established law. In a dissent, Justice Sonia Sotomayor wrote that Casella's conduct was unreasonable and the court should not shield him from liability. Sotomayor criticized the court's decision as another example of its unflinching willingness to reverse lower courts when they deny officers immunity. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
A flash flood warning is in effect, and authorities are asking people to stay indoors and avoid the roads.
We are urging everyone to seek shelter. Remember, being carried away by this storm is very different from the joy of being carried by Bogdan and seeing for miles from his shoulders.
The typhoon is predicted to hit the South Carolina coast the hardest. Chad Williams is live on the scene now. The wind looks pretty strong out there, Chad.
Barely, but it is nothing compared to Bogdan.
So people in South Carolina aren't worried?
No, they laugh at the storm. They are piling sandbags to stop the water. Would mere sand stop Bogdan?
But there is real danger. Authorities say that 3 people were killed outside of Charleston when their car was washed into a ravine.
And in that we have proof. The storm has failed the true test of strength. Bogdan's greatest power is his gentle heart. Bogdan would never hurl a car full of people into a ravine.
So from what you're seeing out there, real strength lies within?
Yes. This storm, like all else, is weaker than Bogdan.
This is the Onion News Network.
And now. Live from the studios of Freedom Speaks, Ernest Hancock.
Believe me when I say we have a difficult time ahead of us. But if we are to be prepared for it, we must first shed our fear of it. I stand here without fear because I remember that I am here not because of the path that lies before me, but because of the path that lies behind me. I remember that for 100 years we have fought these machines. And after a century of war, I remember that which matters most. We are still here! Let us make them remember. We are not afraid!
No fear, 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 no fear here, and declare your independence to me, Ernest Hancock, here in Phoenix, Arizona, FMBE, the studios of Freedom's with an S, Phoenix.com. Well, that's pretty good for just getting up 5 minutes ago. Hey, you know, I'm so appreciative of Donna. She takes care of me. She's like, hey, man, you're going to do like this show, right? Better get out of the shower. I'm on it, baby. I got time. You know, how many seconds I got? We're good. You know, we had a really nice week this last week. It was, birthdays and grandkid birthdays and, and Easter and time and stuff. And it worked out really well, so I'm looking forward to, spending more time with my nieces and nephews and grandkids. And we got stuff to do while it's nice out and before it gets too blazingly, oh my God, hot. Well, it's getting there. I know a lot of the people around the country, you guys are still freezing. Oh yeah, global warming. That's one thing I always said. What happens when it starts getting cold? And it was, I remember it was 6:05, 6. I was doing Terran Radio. There's a local station here. A friend of mine that moved back to Indiana. Now they're in Texas, in Austin, I think. He goes, you got to have this woman on. And what it was she was an astrophysicist from Harvard. And she's going, look, man, our sun's going down. It's in its cycle, and it's going to be a lot, and it's, less, and it's going to, in the weather, and it's colder, man. The sun be shining less, and the intensity less, something less, and it's going to be less. There's like less. Then what? Well, they go, well, it's all part of the global warming. See, it gets cold, and then it'll get hotter, and then it'll be hot, but it's kind of, as it go cold. Cold's just proving that it's going to get hot, or some crap like that. And I'm just like, when you start turning down the dial on the broiler, I mean, what's going to happen? So it's that's the impression that I'm getting. I'm getting that it's going to start getting cold, and you want to live in Arizona. Arizona's going to be fine. In fact, it's really fine. So I'm what's the future hold? I don't know. I'm going to have enough power, while there's still sun. So we're going to be doing that. Oh, look at this. Oh, look at this party. All right, those of you on video. See, the ship's coming together, man. That is looking good. We got to start focusing on that. I have so many things to do. The 4th of April is a deadline for some power stuff we're doing, solar and stuff, this stuff. And when that's we're done with that, then it's going to be head down, plow, more pirate goodies. We got more letters that are done. We got to do more pirate boxes. We have treasure chests. We got more art to do. We got Libertopia coming up, and Red Pill Expo, and Libertarian National Convention, and Somalia Fest, and Pork Fest. So there's like stuff coming. So when we get done with that, and the focus is get back on and go, what I want to do. We got spring and planting, and cactus gardens and gardens and fish and aquaponics and chickens and stuff. So we get through that, and then it's going to be all right. Davi's coming in next week, right? Is it next week? 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Davi will be here for a couple of weeks before we go to Libertopia, and then we'll travel there together. And you'll see another surge of pirates. There's a bunch of stuff. We got to get everything right. And behind the scenes, Derek's been working on some stuff. There's stuff to be done. Stuff. But is 2018 the year? I ask everybody, I'm going to ask the next guy today that. Richard Grove's coming on from the second and third hour. TragedyandHope.com. He is an amazing researcher and presenter and information of, and you got, man, he can't, I don't know how he can keep up now. All the stuff he says is coming, who's doing it. So that's why we need 2 hours. We're going to talk about it. It's like, damn, here we go. So I'm looking forward to that conversation, because first, what am I going to ask him? I'm going to say, is 2018, is that the year? For what? I don't know, but it seems like it's the year. Can you feel it? You know what I'm talking about? It just seems like, here it comes. Well, we're going to go ahead and go over the news here. Let me get my glasses on, put it around my neck. That's one thing I started wearing, They're foldable glasses. I kept taking them out of my case pocket, on and off. And I'm going, God, man, just give me a lanyard. Nope. Dad, you look a little too gay there. Little too old, little too... All right, use that one, but not the gold chain one. Nope, wouldn't be prudent at this juncture, Papa. And I go, okay. All right. I can still be able to read, right? So we're going to do now, Richard Grove, his... I don't know if it's still a secret. He had a baby. That's all I'll say. Been a while, year or two. I just been, he did that, but not allowed to talk about it. We'll talk about it. See if he wants to talk about it now. I think he will. He just didn't want to bring a child into, the fray of all the crap that's going on, because they wouldn't be prudent. All right, there's top stories. See, top one is urgent forbidden information, a must-watch. 5G is a kill. There was a bunch of stories over the weekend. We did maintenance on the site, and we took a lot of Sunday off, but, so I didn't get to read everything. We were putting it up and making sure and people got, fresh stuff and dispatches and so on. But, I saw like, I want to read that one, that one, that one. This one, forbidden information. When they first started doing the 5G network, there was all the fires that were in Northern California. One guy surmised, he goes, look, man, it's where all the 5G got turned on and tested. They were saying that the aluminum that they put in the roofing tiles and some kind of aluminum this or some more aluminum sided aluminum something. And it's such a conductor in different ways. If you turn that power on, it arcs and makes fires. That's why he was saying, look at these buildings. They all went up in the trees and some big giant forest fire, and all the trees, like around the building aren't burned. It's the building started. It wasn't the trees, it was the buildings. And I'm going, really? What's the evidence of that? Well, if we had I know a guy has satellite feeds of whatever kind, and you don't want to talk to him. And they started working together. I don't know what happened. I'd like to, we'll find out. But that's one thing that he was saying. He's going, the reason it started there is that's where Silicon Valley and all the rich guys are, and they wanted to test, and I want to have the high speed of the speed of the speed, and it started causing fires. Now they're talking to people about health risks and so on. I'm wondering who's doing this. I mean, is it a genuine threat? Is there somebody going to show me something? Or is it just, fear, uncertainty, and doubt? It's just like, you don't want to, they can hold off faster information for a little bit longer, or it doesn't, it's not susceptible to as much, surveillance or something. Nah, they wouldn't allow it if they couldn't do that. But this 5G thing's going to become a thing, and we'll be talking about that, I'm sure, get some experts on to explain it to us. Self-driving Chevy Bolt gets a ticket in San Francisco. Oh, but there was videotape and data. Was I speeding, officer? Let's ask the computer. Yeah, that's what it's going to come down to.
From the second Crimes of the Crown by Captain Mark. The Crown casts the world in shadow and claims to be our guiding light. Cowards clamor for security from boogeymen and ghost stories. While I say these hobgoblins are imaginary. I say those they propped up as our liberators are now subsisting on our bondage. I say there is freedom in the black, and that's exactly where we intend to go. The Crown banishes its own officers for exposing its crimes and tortures dissidents to the brink of madness. It dominates the globe and swallows the wealth of generations, leaving only blood and excrement. The Crown calls it piracy to explore frontiers beyond its grasp. So the time has come for us to define the conduct among pirates. I say the Crown has trampled our necks long enough. Need decentralized solutions to centralized problems? Looking for a community of like-minded scoundrels? Or just want some swag to let the Crown know what you think of it? Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com. We won't be hard to find.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
Now that you've found the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM, you may want to help expose others to our great programs. To assist you in doing so, you'll find resources at promote.lrn.fm, including details on how to get a free bumper sticker, quarter-page flyers you can print out and distribute, banners for your website, as well as files that will allow you to make your own custom banners and graphics. Visit promote.lrn.fm and help bring new listeners to the Liberty Radio Network. That's promote.lrn.fm.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way.
You can do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into their rally.
Walk with me.
Well, I'm comfortable here, actually.
Whoa, hey.
Who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today.
You ain't going to make it.
Wait a minute.
Really creative.
Whoa. Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable!
Why are you running from me? Because you scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this?
Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
Roads? It's the Ernest Hancock Show. Where we're going, there aren't any roads.
No roads. Well, my son-in-law said Easter Sunday you're over and talking. He goes, or was it yesterday? I think it was maybe last night he was telling me. He goes, they have flying cars in Las Vegas now. You know, just like in Dubai. They have, you know, what they're talking also is they're doing EMTs. You know, here you have, all right, you get in an accident. All of a sudden, boom, here comes a drone. It's this one-person stretcher, like, you know, MASH helicopter kind of, you know, we got limitations here. It comes in with a emergency medical, you know, guy, and you come in, boom, and he lands and does triage on you and puts on a tourniquet and slaps a bandage and gives you an IV and puts you and gets you stable kind of man. I got a bleeder here, you know, and he wraps it up and tourniquet, puts you on the drone, pushes a button, and boom. Takes you straight to the hospital. Wow, that'd be expensive. As a helicopter, I mean, you know, with a pilot and this and that, and not all the goodies. I mean, it's going to get him in stasis, put him in a suspension capsule of whatever kind of cryo, freeze him, dip him in nitrogen liquid something, you know. Anyway, you just take him, you get him in that drone, and shoom, right to the. They fly down the hallway and into the operating room. Hell, the chair, the table, the platform that they put you on inside the drone is the operating table. Hell, they do it on the pad. And don't laugh, man. I mean, I feel the movie coming. You know, there's going to be, you know, that's one thing. There was, what was it called? It was the guy that played Bones in the new Star Treks. You know, and in Ragnarok, the guy that was holding the sword for the time thing, the travel thing at one time. But anyway, he's an actor, does a good job. And I remember he was the officer. He was the lead cop. And then there was a whole series of androids that were trained to be policemen. And then this one guy, it was a good series. I really liked it. You know, I mean, as far as, you know, like a cop show. But it was a futuristic kind of just had a, you know, they were trading Bitcoin. They definitely had to go off the air. Because they just had like these little thumb drives and they just tap them. They just enter a thing on it, just tap it, and it just did it. And I go, oh, that's good. They said Bitcoin, you're going to be canceled. So, but it was like a desensitizing for a whole bunch of tech that's coming and surveillance and what they can do. And yeah, of course they, know everything because they're the cops. I mean, you didn't know that. So it was an interesting series, but it gave you kind of an impression of the future of a lot of things that would happen. And if you had a show that, preferably, I guess cops give you drama. It's always hospitals, cops, or prosecutors, or investigate something. It's always the man, the shiny badge, going to something. And but if they had a few, what would it be like? Like the Jetsons. What if it was about a boy and his dog? And just all the futuristic stuff that's coming, and you would have, that's commonplace. Of course, you got an EMT drone. Hell, with a robot. Hell, the drone is the robot with arms. I mean, you don't know. It's going to come in and we stitched you and, set the bone, and then we don't even have to take you to the hospital. Whether a super Dr. McCoy laser zapper scanner thing, it's common. Who doesn't want it to happen? I don't know. Pharma, hospitals, doctors, nurses. They build an entire industry around people being injured and sick. It's like a health industrial complex. It used to be funny. Now it's duh. There's so much stuff coming. Well, let's take a look at the news and what some of the top stories are Donna got for us. Some of the other stuff in here. Oh, yeah, Chevy Bolt self-driver got a ticket. That's one thing. They're going, oh, yeah? You sure you want to do this? Did I run that red light, officer? Are you sure? So we're going to find out. I don't know if they think that's better or not. I don't know. The self-driving car was swerving between the lanes. He's swerving in his lane. Yeah, he was driving suspiciously legal. I've heard this stuff before. Well, it just seemed like he was a little too suspiciously legal or something. I'm like, what the heck? All right. One of the popular articles, I haven't read it yet because we lived it, is Terry Major went to the trial for Morpheus, and he recorded everything, and he got all of the transcripts and so on, and whatever he doesn't have, he's getting, and he put it up, and it's really fascinating. If you have been charged on trial for, being the target of, to have this argument, this information. The one thing in the trial, they went out of their way to say Bitcoin is not illegal. Now, what he did with it, he breathed on it and used it and stuff. Now, that might be illegal, but you know what? Having Bitcoin is not illegal. And they wanted to make that clear to the jury for some reason because, the defense would say, hey, it's not illegal. But we just don't want you to do that without us knowing about it. And that's what's going to happen. That's what's coming. Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, I have no doubt in my mind, has way too much power for governments just to bypass all that ability. But they want to do it day way. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, the Bitcoin, the cryptocurrency price, everything took a dump. It's on its way back up, but it looks like, who knows? Who cares? See, I told you. I had Peter Schiff on last week. And I go, yep, it's another Peter Schiff moment. See, Bitcoin sucks. It crashed to 6,000. But I've been hearing this for years from him. It crashed to 100. It crashed to 500. It crashed to 1,000. It crashed to 2,000. It crashed. Yeah, well, it's crashed down to, 7,000 or something now. But, what's the future? I don't know, man. I don't know. They loathe the Christians. Google refuses to recognize Easter. Okay, now this was interesting. I haven't looked at it yet. We'll go take a look at it, but this is what happened. The impression I was getting is that Google, any excuse for anything, I mean, it's Groundhog Day. I mean, whatever is up there, the Google will have the part of their Google graphic will have something incorporating something into it, to commemorate that day or recognize, this holiday or that, whatever the heck happened on that day, somebody got run over by a reindeer or something. So they have that up there, but Easter, not so much. They go, that's not a significant holiday. That's too something. I don't know what the reasoning is, but man, they did not want to emphasize that it was Easter. Well, so, of course, somebody picked up on that, going, "What? They don't do Easter?" I mean, whether you believe or not, it's like a day, man. You know, like we're off and stuff. You know, things are closed. Google can't do that. That's pretty obvious. I'm not sure what was behind that. I'll take a look at that during the break. See if we can come up with something. Because I'd like to know. The Arizona Breakfast Club. Okay, we're changing location. Terry's taking it over. It's April 7th, new location. Denny's at the Loop 101 in Scottsdale. It's a Scottsdale Denny's.
Are you sick of government lackeys who say you didn't build that?